It's all down to Mitchie to try to deny that. He's unable to deny the plan. Red, he's able to run down the time.
Here it stops again. One kill already done. Next kill already done. Numbers do usually win out, so they are going to pick it up out through the wall.
Camera in position.
Get behind me!
Tango located.
Hostiles in sight!
Kia ora, g'day, and good evening. Welcome along. It's week number 8, I guess, but it's night number 2 of the semi-finals here for LPL Pro Season 3 Rainbow Six Siege. My name is Smite, his name is Cthulu, and we've got another set of banger semi-final matches tonight. Man, what a good game we've got lined up.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for tonight's games. Really, the PC419 versus Skyfire, the second semi-final, should be a really saucy one. I'm really keen to get into it after all the formalities.
I mean, there's even a little bit of spicy story that we can add
yes.
to it, but you'll have to wait for that. We'll get into it in just a moment. We're going to catch everyone up. If you're just joining us for the first time tonight, maybe you need a bit of a reminder. Here's how we got to this point in the semi-finals. We started off with 8 teams in the round robin, then we cut them in half. And we had only 4 teams left, and last night we eliminated Rafflecopter. We're left with only 3. Ferox are already in the grand final from last night's matches, so tonight's matches, that's just going to be the other side of the semi-finals. And then we go to the grand finals, where they're going to be playing in and locking in that prize pool, Cthulhu. Look at all that money.
Yes, exactly. Ferox already got themselves an upgrade to, at the very least, $1,000 on the second place. And they will get to try their hand at the winning out the second time in a row, actually.
Yep.
Possibly, after the Season 2 winnings as well. And today, or rather tonight, we are going to be deciding as to who will be the second contestants to Ferox.
That's right, exactly. I mean, they could double their prize pool tonight because everyone playing tonight, they've already got that $500, but it can be upgraded to at least $1,000 if they win tonight. But of course, we have to get into that a little bit later on. There's been another few ways that players have been working hard to earn a bit of extra cash this season as well. One of those ways one player has been working towards is the Vodafone MVP. This is for the top dog of the season, the guy that gets all the frags, or the biggest star, the shining moment of your team, right? Now, we know who it is, because it's already been decided. But we're not telling you. Not yet, at least, guys. It's at the grand finals. We're going to be announcing the MVP, so definitely stick around for that one, because it's an extra $250 cash for whoever walks away with that prize. Now, another one that they've been working hard for, and this one has been to impress all of you guys at home. It's the Red Bull fan vote, and of course, this one's for your favorite player, whoever's got the best personality or makes those kills look great, right? You want to be voting for them. So this is probably, in fact, this is your last chance to get in there and vote. So it closes after tonight. So to find out how to do it, !vote in the chat. That will tell you how to do it. And here's why. Here's why you want to do it, because 4 random voters get a year's supply of Red Bull. But that's not all, because what are the 4 players with the most votes get?
So the 4 players with the top 4 positions after all the voting has been concluded will be in to win $500 reduce, a Red Bull fridge, and a year's supply worth of Red Bull 2. Maybe chuck that in the fridge, or maybe if you want, you could put the money into that fridge and then,
why would you put the money in the fridge?
Some people enjoy it sometimes. I don't know who, but...
Okay, I get it. It's cold hard cash.
Exactly.
There we go. Got it there. We saved it in the end. But that's for the Red Bull fan vote, guys. So that's your job. Get in there and vote. It's your last chance to do it tonight. !vote in the chat. Now, another thing you'll have an opportunity to do is the Esports Assessment Lab. And this could be a little good warm-up before you watch the games tonight even. Jump on there, get the test done, and you can find out basically how good your brain is in esports and where it's good and where it needs a little bit of work. To do the test, all you got to do is use our code LPL Gaming, all caps, no spaces, and you can give it a go for free. You can even test your score against Campo, who is one of the hot runners throughout the season for the MVP, actually, that we just mentioned before. So you can actually see whether you're better than the MVP overall in the brain.
Yeah, definitely some good way to put some numbers to some of the theory, so...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how many times have you been in ranked with some snot-nosed kid's telling you how to play, and he's probably got a really low score in the EAL, but now you can prove it, right? So get out there, give it a go, !EAL, to get a little bit more info if you need it, to find out how to do it. So go give it a go, see how you fare. Now, Cthulhu, semi-finals. But let's touch on last night, what we saw, because I just said before we eliminated Rafflecopter. That might shock a few people, because they were the top of the leaderboard at the end of the round robin.
Yeah, Rafflecopter has shown us some really good performances. They had borderline a flawless run in the whole of regular round robin season, and well, you can see that very thing on the leaderboard. And only 2 losses for them throughout the whole season, but unfortunately they, for themselves, took a big L yesterday to the hands of Ferox, who were seed number 4. Now, arguably, this is probably the most competitive playoffs bracket that we've seen for a while in LPL Pro, and definitely even for a team that is seed 4, they arguably could be also considered for a seed 1, as they are currently now in the grand finals here,
I mean, you look at the rest of the results, and this is going to be important because PC419 and Skyfire are playing tonight. Is that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, they're all on the same points. The only team above them is Rafflecopter, and they just got eliminated. So the 3 teams we have left, they all got the same results throughout the round robin, and now we get to eliminate one more team tonight, PC419 or Skyfire. And this one should really go the distance, right? We expected that from last night's match too, but 2nd seed versus 3rd seed, a very storied matchup too. So, I mean, I think we should probably just really touch on these guys here, because let's move on to the match tonight, Cthulhu, because look at it. PC419 versus Skyfire. We've seen these names for 3 seasons now in LPL Pro at least. And even the players themselves have been going at each other for the longest time. So this is a grudge match with some story.
Yeah, this is probably one of the more rather historical, like you said, matches. And this is actually the first time that PC419 has actually were able to make it to the playoffs bracket of LPL Pro.
That's right.
Throughout all 3 seasons. Last season, they got knocked out by Skyfire indirectly, though, after Skyfire ended up knocking out Exto out of their perfect first seed in the last week of the round robin. So this time, PC419, not only they looked better than ever throughout the whole season, this is their grand chance to really push themselves into the grand finals. Whereas for Skyfire, this is kind of more so of a return for them. They already seen themselves in the grand finals in the last season, where they did play against Ferox, funnily enough. And this time they are looking to potentially do the very similar thing, but from what we saw actually between these 2 teams, this could be a very even-sided match where maybe we could see all 3 maps this time.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hope so, because, I mean, spoiler alert, the maps are going to be pretty interesting, but we'll get to that soon. Let's take a look at the teams, Cthulhu, because, like we said, the players themselves have also been around here forever. I mean, you look at these guys, they haven't been bald forever, of course. Season 1 and 2, they had all of their hair, I believe, or we didn't have photo evidence of it last season, but, yeah, look at the names. I mean, Vlad has been around forever, but look at his teammates, too. Steffi T, Pun, Tesla have been with this lineup for a long time, and then they added Shaq.
Yes. I feel like also the 2 people that we really kind of didn't give enough credit really here. Steffi T, the person who was popping up on a fair few rounds and actually was able to turn around quite a few clutch moments as well for his team and push it into PC419's favor. As well as that, big props to Tesla and Shaq. Shaq, we've been talking about him for quite a while. He's been a very huge addition to the roster, and he's been showing up on a fair few occasions on multiple different roles, including kind of being that entry fragging Ashe player who some members of the community may be kind of looking at it with as a bad thing. Ashe man, why would you even need those? But they are the ones that get the job done. These are the kind of players that would rush in, get those very meaningful initial frags and set up the initial momentum. So by all means, this whole roster is absolutely amazing right now.
Yeah, but they have to be, because they need to take down their storied opponents here, Skyfire. If there's ever a team that PC419 want to take down, it's these guys. And you look at the lineup, you see why as well. Same sort of deal. A lot of these players sticking around with Skyfire for the longest time. Smacker, of course, almost the face of the team.
Yeah, Smacker definitely has been a very much of a reoccurring name, even when it comes down to the Skyfire branding as well. Man has been on the grind for quite a while, and look, I'm just excited to see this match, because both of these teams, as of recently, has been showing us some very entertaining matches as well. So quite curious. As well as that, the whole roster as it is has been performing pretty well. Seasoned veterans at this point of LPL Pro, Mateus, Archie, Jigsaw. These names have been seeing a fair bit of reoccurrence. I believe Player was part of Skyfire, but more so as a sub. at least from my memory. I may be wrong, but his introduction into the core roster has definitely shown us that he is a very able player as well, who can frag out, who can keep up with his team and can support it as much as he can.
It's crazy how similar the stories are within the teams, right? How they've gone through LPL Pro, but you can narrow it down to even just our key player matchup, Cthulu. And that is two players we've already talked a fair amount about. It's Vlad versus Smacker. I mean, literally the faces of both teams here, Vlad especially. They're coming in here. I mean, we've had them on interviews. We've had them in semi-finals and even finals before. So when it comes down to it, I mean, it's hard to put these guys against each other. You love them both.
Yeah, you love them both. You love to see them both. Both of them provide some fantastic content as well for all the means necessary, really. And look, I'm excited. I've said that previously. I've said that yesterday. I'm very keen because not only they've been pulling off some very wild strats on a fair few occasions. I mean, even the clip of I believe that was actually Player. Going with a Warden spawn peak on coastline through Smoke's gas grenade already became kind of a viral thing as well as the thing that is the representing of the tier 2 ANZ scene. As memey as it is though, both of these teams are very creative with their approaches.
But that's the other good thing as well, is that now we get to sit back and say, well, Skyfire have actually kind of hidden how they play on a lot of the maps for even up to the last maybe even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they'd really solidified their positions, but they still managed to win those matches anyway. So look, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what's going to happen from Skyfire, but there's another reason for that. And that's the maps. Because they are bonkers, right? Last night we had Clubhouse Oregon and theme park, which we didn't even go to. But tonight we're kicking things off on Consulate. And that's PC419's pick. Then we're going to Coastline. Now this one's not too much of a surprise. We both actually predicted this.
That was the only map that we predicted.
Everything else out the bin though. Villa's another one though. This one's a little more familiar where we see teams pick this one up quite a bit. But to get there, we have to get to all 3 games.
Yeah. Look, I'm definitely. I was quite surprised when I first saw PC419 pick Consulate, given that it is definitely one of their less frequent maps. I believe
everyone's less frequent.
Yeah, everyone's less frequent maps, and it just shows that the difference because, kind of to date back to yesterday's game, Oregon, Clubhouse, and then Theme Park, possibly that could have been seen between Rufflecopter and Ferox. Both of these teams are also yet to verse each other during this weekend, so they didn't really want to expose all of their strats just yet. For PC419 and Skyfire, for them, unfortunately, they didn't make it towards the relegations of OCN. So this is where they kind of go out, guns blazing, bust out their strat book to end 2020 with a bang. And look, I'm genuinely excited because Consulate definitely is potentially an indication that PC419, this is their kind of the ace in their sleeve kind of map pick where they have
like
all of this juicy strats will be coming around. For Skyfire though, Coastline and Villa, those both maps are very favorable. They were able to demolish their opponents on Villa. Coastline has been their favorite map for almost a season and a half.
Yeah.
And to see them make a return here is definitely a showcase that they are very much comfortable to go there. They are ready, they are keen. So for PC419, if they are looking for a dub here, most certainly they need to win out this map number 1. Because map number 2 has a very good chance to go into the hands of Skyfire. And then from there on, it is going to be an absolute bloodbath when it'll come down to Villa. Because both of these teams could really perform, but knowing how aggressive Skyfire can be, more so of a question comes around, can PC419 match that aggression? Because we've seen a few odd moments here and there, but we've never seen PC419 turn it up all the way to 100, like say even what Ferox did.
Yeah, last night.
Exactly. We haven't seen Ferox pull off that many clutches for some of these players that we've been borderline sleeping on. And they just came out of literally nowhere. They've shown us all their chemistry, and well, we've seen a 2-0.
That's right, and maybe if we do see a good start from Skyfire, we might see that, but we'll have to wait and see because to get into the semi-finals, we've got to make sure all our pieces are in place, Cthulhu. Unfortunately, there's a 10th piece that we're just waiting to get home from work, and once they are home, we'll be able to get into the match. But until then, guys, we're going to a very, very quick break, so quickly go grab a Red Bull, make sure your seat's extra comfy, because when we get back, we're getting right into the semi-final. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for sticking through the small break with us before we jump right into the semi-final. Skyfire versus PC419. And, well, it seems like that 10th piece we were waiting for, we're going to have to wait a bit longer. But we are going to get the game underway, it seems, as the call has been made that Skyfire, after the time allotment that they've had, I think it's Skyfire, right? With the player? Or
Not too sure. One of the teams, definitely. I believe it could have been Skyfire.
In any case, the time limit for the player to show up has been run out, and the team will have to go forward with the 4. So once we jump into the game, we'll see it start, see which side is dropping down one player. So, I mean, this is going to be a little bit rough. I mean, we've had word that the player is definitely on their way to show up and are going to show up partway through the match. So it's not going to be a full-on 4v5 the whole way through, but he is allowed to show up partway through. But it is going to mean these first few rounds are going to be rough, are going to be arguably impossible, right? If a smart team can refrag properly, then it's going to be really hard to take them down.
Yeah. This is definitely going to be a rough run for either one of the teams. I believe it is actually going to be Skyfire that will be losing out one of their players, but I believe they also might be getting a sub in, so maybe that won't be as much of an issue, but still nonetheless, an impact to performance is going to be then probably very much noticeable. But look, I mean, it's still a very possible thing. Say if it's somebody like Player, you still got the star 4-core roster of Skyfire that has been a fair few times pulling their weight quite substantially. So I wouldn't be as scared for them, but it's still, it pains. It's a painful thing whenever you get to run into these kinds of issues, and especially when you're missing out on one of the players. So it's...
Which is why we're being so careful about it and making sure that we're going into it with the right plan, right? Because right now, you may notice we have not actually jumped into the game just yet. There's talk of a sub coming in for Skyfire. Apologies, we're getting updated this on the fly, as I'm sure you're all aware. And, well, I'm sure Skyfire want to go in full strength for this semi-final. So we're just getting the updates, and we'll keep you guys updated too. But for now, it seems the game has not gotten underway. But
I think they're just about to actually...
We're about to go?
Momentarily to the year to start. So I believe the time that was allotted to them has been actually ran out.
Yep.
So, look, just a few more short moments before we get into the match. But look, Consulate, with a 4v5 from the get-go, it is going to be definitely a rough start here for the semi-final.
On their opponent's map pick too. I mean, that's rough. I mean,
for PC419 though, it is going to be the best case scenario. Really,
I mean,
themselves up.
Yes, but I mean, because we know that their 5th player is eventually going to show up, right? They're not going to just play for the whole way through. So you can imagine that, like, maybe they would have wanted this on, say, Coastline, where, you get the advantage on your opponent's map pick and can maybe take a win that maybe wasn't there in the first place. But in any case, though, it looks like it will be happening on Consulate. So they can still take advantage of it, right? I mean, you're still correct. They really wanted to get map number 1 anyway. You were saying it's, basically needed for them to take the series, right? Because Coastline could be a massive uphill battle. Villa, a bloodbath, like you were saying. So really, it's got to happen on Consulate. And to kick it off on a 5v4, I mean, maybe PC419's Honor might not like it, but I mean, maybe their wallets really like it.
All right. Well, we just actually got an update, so that it will be a 5v5. So
okay, great.
So that's the good news. The other news are it's going to be Kubrine that will be coming around. Still also a fairly known member of Skyfire, although a sub. Hasn't really seen a whole lot of performance. I believe only a single playday during Season 3. But the man is still very able to perform, so I'm very much keen to see what he will be able to pull off. So we're just about to be ready for the R's from the teams. We are certainly quite ready as well.
We are quite ready. We are itching to go, and as soon as that 10th player jumps in the lobby, I imagine we're going to be hitting the start button basically the second he's joining. I mean, I imagine he is opening up the game, if it's not already open, as fast as he possibly can. So I imagine everyone's itching to get into the game, guys. Don't worry, we are too. We are just about ready to get into it. But I mean, look, I think we've broken down this match basically as much as it can. But I mean,
until we go directly into the map, there's pretty much not a whole lot of things that can be said. Both of the teams can very much flex a multitude of playstyles, and like I've been saying this for probably past like 2 weeks, it is going to be more so of a game of chess. Although on Consulate, this is going to be a game of for Skyfire to guess what exactly is PC419 going to be doing, because for Consulate, whilst it's a fairly rarely picked map, it has been stratted out pretty well. So quite a fair few rosters already know exactly what to do here, and some of the teams do like to still experiment. I mean, we've seen, even to expand on the global scene, the way how Fnatic played during the last 6 Invitational, although they could not take a dub there, they showed us some really cool performances whilst defending, say, the lobby or the top floor, where they pretty much played all around the lobby area, the central spiral stairs, the long desk, and the meeting room. Everything else was given away to the opponents, but they played vertically from there and there only, and they kept it as clear as possible. So we've seen a few very unusual holes that really, really worked out well there for some teams. So maybe here is what PC419 will be able to achieve, because this is their kind of, I suppose, their pick and their kind of the secret ace in the sleeve.
I mean, I think that's probably the one thing we can say for sure, is that you don't pick Consulate unless you have a reason to pick Consulate, right?
Exactly.
You know, if they were just going to throw out a map they're comfortable on, or one they know they can get done, we'd see Clubhouse, we'd see Oregon, but instead it's Consulate, so that pick has to have a reason. We've got to see it come out here for tonight. I mean, look, PC419, I mean, look, we've already been saying, if you don't win here, it could be a very uphill battle, but I mean, if they can win in an exciting way, I'm keen to see it.
Yeah, I'm definitely keen. I definitely think that we are going to be seeing all 3 maps here between the 2 rosters. I certainly would be surprised if it is going to be just a swift 2-0 and for it to be a very one-sided match. But I can see already the game feed lighting up. There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
We've done it.
It's time for Consulate. It's time for semi-final number 2, and it's time for Skyfire to kick things off on the defense.
Yeah, let's get into it here. Let's get in here. Finally, we've made it. I wonder if we're going to get some sightlines on which player has jumped in, because you mentioned it was Kubrian, right? So we'll see that pop up, but for now the band's coming in. First up, it's going to be Nomad to take away. That's going to be Skyfire's band. So they're predicting that something that PC419 is planning must involve Nomad.
Yeah, Nomad ban is one of those things that sometimes it's a very much of a kind of target ban. Sometimes it's a comfort ban, and it seems that for Skyfire that was the one. And well, the second ban is going to be Thatcher, that will be seeing himself out yet again. The man just can't seem to be able to get a break, and yeah, look. Apart from that, the next ban is going to be, I'm assuming, Mira and maybe maybe a Valkyrie to make it as kind of standardized as possible. But look, we'll have to see.
Yeah, for the last ban, Skyfire's ban, I do predict a Valkyrie, right? Like, that's just something that a team with a plan, PC419, they could have something crazy like weird Valk spots for runouts in particular, but instead it's actually the Wamai to come in for the ban. But also just a very, in general, popular, strong pick on the map, so not a bad ban at all.
Yeah, definitely. A Wamai ban is certainly going to be a bit of a hindrance there for maybe possibly even both of the teams, really, given that both of these rosters have been practicing some good plays, but it seems that at the moment, at least the first round is going to be played out in a 4v5 fashion, whereas we are going to be seeing a rehost straight after that. So console office and meeting room is going to be the first site that will be picked by Skyfire to defend. And looking at the lineup, this is just about scratching the bare bones of the utility stuff that they are intending to bring in. A Jaeger, a Doc, a Valkyrie, and a Melusi. So one utility to catch the grenades, one utility to, or rather 2 utilities to gather the information, and then Doc to assist with the fragging.
Yeah, and on top of that as well,
Defenders, protect your
we also know that
bombs.
PC419, they know Skyfire is starting this off on the 4v5 with, like, from operator pick phase, so they can even build their comp around this to take advantage of it, just play for refrags if they really want to. So, look, they're going with the Monty, so you can already assume they're going to play something like that. Very quick, very hard, that gets in there fast, and just says, alright, cool, you guys have to deal with us, and you've already got 1 player down. So it's already going to be a disadvantage. So for Skyfire, yes, they do have to do something special. I think something like Jig getting a spawn peek on the Dock, it kind of has to happen.
It's either that or some
5
early,
seconds to go.
an early double kill to just even out and force the manpower
Attacker's
into
objective
the
is
hands
to
of
defuse a bomb.
Skyfire. The spawn pick is actually coming around, but it is not Jigsaw, it is instead Mateus that is actually going to be doing that thing. And as a matter of fact, the whole of Skyfire roster is maybe attempting to do that. Mateus will not be able to catch anyone off guard here, so we shall be seeing Steffi T make a very easy entry straight onto the exit stairs, but feeling very cautious given the fact that it looks like the exit stairs doorway has been pre-opened up, so maybe expecting something of a cheeky play maybe to come around.
Yeah, but of course they've got the drones to just live drone the Monty forward, and so Steffi should have no real impedance to his progress. Jigsaw hanging around on the stairs is now being droned out, so he has just got to rotate all the way back up unless he wants to stick around and fight. It looks like he wants to somewhat hold his position, but retreating at the same time. But the big deal here is Smacker on the yellow stairs. These barbed wires, the rustle, no, it was the illusion all along. And now there surely has to be a retreat. How much can he stand around here with the Monty hanging around? But he's also got old mate player hanging around downstairs too.
And with player being able to get that frag, this is a huge thing. Steffi T will not be able to refrag this, so we are now on an even ground here between Skyfire and PC419. Although it did take quite some time for that frag to come around, but better late than never. With still a minute and 38 seconds to go, this still could be done. Smacker getting a little bit careless there on that push. They're certainly going to be feeling a little bit of extra damage come around from the rooftop, as trying to juke out the Monties, the last thing that you really want to keep doing, but
look at how much time he's burning up right now. As long as he can do this safely, keep the Monty there. I mean, it's a stalemate. It's not the end of the world for sure. And the thing for Steffi, though, is he can keep an eye on the door behind him as well. He can see if anyone's going to be coming around to try and help out Smacker, try and make a bigger push. Shaq in the background gets player, and there he goes. Smacker will eventually crack the shield and take the Monty down. But look at the remains of what has happened, Cthulu. Pun on basically no health here. Shaq has dropped down to less than half. This is doable for Skyfire with the time left.
very much, yes. Now Shaq is going to be a little bit more cautious about his approach because he knows that there is a wild dog still roaming around and could potentially take that long engagement. But there's also a repel in straight into the bathroom, and Vlad actually gets rid of Jigsaw. Now it's all down to Mateus, but the poor man cannot do anything, and there we go. This is the first round that goes into the hands of PC419. The rehost will be granted, and it's going to be Skyfire to leave the lobby first. Now, we are going to be returning back to us for just a little bit. Hello, hi, once again. But that does give us a little bit of a preview, I suppose, of what could be kind of the gameplay, at the very least, for a few rounds.
But is it?
Well, it may not be, but we've seen a very good, how should I call it, a very good coordination from Skyfire on the initial play, where they were able to gain themselves that early frag, push it into a 4v4. Smacker did all he really could there in a 1v1 against a Monty as a Jaeger. The main issue is that, unfortunately for him, he couldn't really hold on his own against an Ashe, especially after already taking some damage from the Nomad. And if he would have stayed on 100%, I definitely think he would have won that 1v1 situation against Shaq. So, few things didn't really line up. The fact that Skyfire already didn't have a whole lot of information in regards to where the push could be happening is also a really unfortunate thing. And kind of from there on, it kind of snowballed really against Skyfire. So now that we are going to be getting the fifth player in, hopefully we are going to be seeing some improvements from Skyfire. But
I mean, look,
yeah.
They were playing with a toolbox not quite full for that round, so that's definitely something to consider in that one. But it does give us a preview of what it looks like when they're going to have to play from behind, right? You know those rounds that go by where someone tries to spawn peek, but you know they get shot back? That is what that round could look like, right? Obviously, with it starting from the operator phase, it's a little bit different, but yeah, for now, we can see kind of if PC49 can grab that lead early on, you know, lead arguably by just getting a frag like that, making it a 5v4, then, I mean, they know how to make it from there, but of course, we know that was from the operator phase, so I don't think we can put all the chips into that, but it is a good little preview of what we can see coming in from Skyfire from behind, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's still very much of a game that can be gone into either way. Really, we only see a single round, and usually the first round jitters are quite different to what we usually tend to see for some of the teams. Or sometimes it's like I mentioned before, could be a preview of what could be the general pace. Sometimes the teams can be performing absolutely stunningly, but look, this time we have all 5 players. It is the time for Consulate. Once again, the rehost has been successful, and we are on 5v5 situation.
Everyone has joined the party. It's about time. It's about time. So we can basically even arguably call this the start of the semifinals, right? Because, I mean, you can put round 1 in the bin, but just say that, you know, PC419 get a free round at the start, and that is how we're going to kick things off, I suppose. But Cthulu, looks like Doc could actually be sticking around here. Maybe not even just as part of a, hey, we've only got 4 people kind of strategy. Looks like they may still try to use it. And you look at PC419, similar things, but they've dropped the Monty. So this is what it looks like when they know it's a 5v5 from the get-go.
Yeah. Look, a dog pick on Consulate is not a bad idea given how powerful he still is, even with a 1.5 times scope. So I wouldn't go past the fact that we may be seeing some quality plays from Jigsaw now that he will have an extra set of information gathering utility from players Maestro, as well as that they do also bring in the Valkyrie. So everything is looking pretty well here, comp-wise for SKF, although fairly, well, I don't want to say basic because it is not, but they are definitely more so leaning towards trying to cover as much area as possible with the info gathering and not really caring about a whole lot of projectiles that could be thrown around.
Yeah, it seems like they just kind of want to know where the attackers are coming from when they're standing there and then take the gunfights. They've got very powerful weapons to do so for the defenders, in fact, but yeah, you're right. There's not anything super crazy. They're not doubling up on, like, you know, say, well, I mean, they can't get banned, but anything like that coming out, right? You're always going to see the Jaeger, so those ADS are always going to be present, but yeah, they're definitely looking to take these gunfights, but also take advantage of the Banshees, so look to see how PC419 deals with those. If they can get rid of the Banshees real early, and even arguably the Maestros, the Evil Eyes, if they can get rid of those, then they can set themselves up for a really, really good push. As long as they can take the gunfights. They don't drop the ball there, they're good.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see whether PC419 are currently in their momentum here. Already a peek out by Smacker will be finding himself a kill, and that is unfortunate for Tesla.
Yeah.
And once again, not particularly having a fun time there.
The dude was moonwalking a little bit on the spot, so you could kind of see it coming, but that, yeah. Now they're getting a little taste of Skyfire's medicine here with the 4v5 from the get-go, so yeah, a little bit rough. I mean, if anything though, Smack is going to be happy he gets the frag to add on to his score for it too, but here we are. So no progress on the stairs just yet. They're going to try and make it up with just the 4-man squad. And yeah, Skyfire, they are very spread out, just looking to take these very quick gunfights.
Yeah, they definitely all banking on the fact that they will be able to take some of the 1v1s in their favor. And while it is a valid tactic, it still could be a very dangerous thing to really do. So they will need to be extra cautious. Thankfully for them, and not a single person has really lost any health. Well, minus Tesla, but that's more so a question of his connection. But look, we shall see if things can be changed here around by PC419 and maybe pushed into 4v4 fairly quickly, because Mateus already took quite some damage.
Yeah, fairly quickly. It does need to happen, and maybe it happens there, but Shaq, oh man, he was ready for it, and so he does even it up now. If you ignore the health bars, and Vlad makes it even sweeter. to get that next one in. PC419, they may drop Tesla, but they might not drop the round here if they keep this up. But there's only a minute left, so Skyfire have certainly bought the time they need in this 3v4.
Yeah, look. Things right now are certainly looking a little bit odd here, to say the very least. Player opening up a rotation point for, it seems, Mateus, to try to maybe find himself some sort of a flank around and get a frag, but instead it's Player himself that will be actually getting rid of Vlad, so that is a huge opening here. Has his eyes set on the exit stairs as well. Once again, it's Shaq who's trying to get himself an opening, and instead it's Pun actually going to drop in. Has the full sideline right onto side, but oh, mommy, that is a lot of damage. And it's Mateus to actually detonate the pre-play C4. Already time is running low. Steffi is about to get contested from 2 different angles, and right now Shaq is stuck in a crossfire as well. Tries to go in for a peek, only gets, well, just a little bit of damage, but really nothing can be done here. Shaq also, unfortunately, disconnected, and we might just be seeing yet another rehost here.
Yeah, if you haven't had enough of us, we're going to be jumping back on screen in a second, I imagine. There it is, rehost, to get old mate Tesla back on into the action. Fair enough. Fair enough, too. Skyfire got one, so PC419 deserves one, too, for sure. But it's going to take a few minutes to set up that lobby. Hopefully the cooldown's still all good. But, of course, now we've got 2 rounds under our belt, Cthulhu. We actually... I mean, that one wasn't even really a 5v5 either. So, I mean, let's just say that's what a round looks like, where PC419 are the team to lose someone straight on the get-go, right? You could have just considered that like a spawn peak or something. Just imagine it's a spawn peak that was successful. So that's what PC419 looked like when they're from behind. Close, and they had a pathway back in, but unfortunately no cigar.
Yeah, exactly. Not a whole lot of things could have been done there. Skyfire just did an amazing lockdown of the whole of the console site, and, well, just really prevented any kind of advancement, really. Big props to Player, big props to Mateus and Jigsaw for just holding down their crossfires and pretty much forcing PC419 to really get anywhere, really.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? When PC419 started coming back into it, they only got the frags. They didn't really get any position, right?
Exactly.
They couldn't move forward. You saw they were still locked out the window, locked out the stairs, even locked out of the desk hallway. And so the moment they go in, they're either getting hit by every single sightline imaginable, or it's a C4 from below. So they already had basically every single spot cut off for them. So unfortunately for them, that was, what that round looks like, even if they had a way back in. But of course, imagine if they had Tesla there the whole time. So, once we get into round 3, maybe we get a real look at what a 5v5 is going to look like.
Maybe. Hopefully the technical difficulties will stop being, difficult, really.
Yep.
And we shall be seeing the rest of the match go on without a hitch. But look, so far it's been 2 completely different iterations of the same portions of the side. One was an absolute domination from PC419, but that was from the fact that pretty much Skyfire played with only 4 players. And the second round was when PC419 played with 4 players. So certainly a few things are certainly not aligning there just yet. So hopefully after we get all the players in, we shall be seeing a very well-balanced matchup. I suppose that would be the way to really call it.
Bit of a competitive round, maybe? That would be nice.
A bit more competitive round, but maybe a more competitive series, hoping that we shall not be seeing any kind of rehost anymore. But look, all so far has been all just a teaser for what all the action that could be coming around. Not meant to really overhype it to this point, but this is a very close game. Even seedings-wise, both of these rosters are very close. They are on a tiebreaker currently, points-wise, at least during the regular season. And going into the playoffs, after they already played off the final week against each one another in a, quote-unquote, meme match, this is where they get extra serious about it all.
Well. Getting into the next rehearsal. Hopefully they get serious in this 3rd round here, because, I mean, look, it's looking like it can very well be a very close match. I mean, obviously it's hard to tell when you've got 2 4v5s to go off of, but the fact that they weren't, say, flawless rounds from the side with a 5 or just a complete wash where maybe one guy gets taken down, then I think we do still have a match on our hands, and we've got those 2 kind of preview rounds to kind of prove it. but I mean, really, we want to get into that third round to see where it gets off. Basically, these theoretical spawn peak rounds, I don't want to see anymore. I want to see that 5v5. I want to see the full man push from both squads.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to see all of that coordination to be finally showcased to us. So I'm very, very keen for that. Look, for what it's worth, that does give us some time to really think about. So how could maybe even map number 2 really unravel for us? Because whilst Consulator already can be a bit of a back and forth kind of action between the two rosters, I definitely think the coastline is going to be very much dependent on how close or how quick the first half will conclude, where I believe it's actually going to be PC419 to start on defense. So if PC419 can really just stop all the aggression that Skyfire will be throwing at them, say push it into a 4v2, a 4-2 scoreline, this could be actually a very good setup for them where they could potentially win out coastline. If it is going to be, though, a 3-3 scoreline, and then it's Skyfire to go into defense on the second half, a few questions are definitely going to be raised, mostly in favor of Skyfire, given that they've shown us some good defense, good offense on that map, and most certainly even a round difference could pretty much do exactly that, a change in the favor between the two teams.
I mean, for sure. I mean, and that's just in coastline as well. It's also gonna probably come down to like which teams are feeling it on the gunfights for coastline. You know, definitely a map that really favors those ones. So you know, we'll have to get through Consular to really get a good feel on it. I mean, I don't think those rounds really tell enough of who's feeling it tonight, who's popping off. I think a good example of that last night was Nazgul, a player who we don't normally see, you know, go bonkers in the frags. He had probably the best series of his season last night. So maybe we see a little bit of that tonight. Maybe it's someone who doesn't normally show up in the top frags every single week. Maybe they show up tonight and they change everything, because I feel like that was a huge factor last night. Yeah. So maybe that's what we're looking for tonight. Yeah, definitely keen to see whether we'll be seeing some of the rather new MVPs to maybe pop up. Maybe some of the players that need like few more votes from the Red Bull Community MVP award to be granted those needed points to get themselves drawn into that top 4 player set. So few things are still yet to be answered. So it's certainly on the table. Now, we're still waiting for the 10th player to come around, though, so bear with us. I know I can see already some of the viewers already starting to type up. Just stupid casters, please start game. Stop talking, start game. We want to too. Trust us, we want to get into the game. We probably won't want to stop talking. Yeah, we probably kind of have to keep doing that. But we do want to start the game as well, trust me. On that one. Yeah, we're just about as keen about it. It's called a compromise, guys. We'll keep talking, we'll give you the game soon. As soon as the players are all ready. But we are just going to jump into a quick... Actually, hold that thought. Hold that thought. I just saw Tesla jump in, and we have kicked, actually, the game right back off, so we're getting right back into it. You're lucky I was about to call a break there. Well, maybe PC419 hurt you as well on that one. And... finally got that player back in. So round number 3, good luck, have fun, is coming out from both of the rosters. So we're going to be jumping straight right into the round number 3. It is going to be Cafeteria and Garage, though, since Skyfire were able to successfully defend round number 2 on console office. So it is definitely going to be a bit of a change of scenery, finally, after all the rehosts. And... well, the Cafeteria and Garage could be really iterated in a vast variety of ways here. We could either see a very much of a hunker-down play from Skyfire and for it to be very passive, or we could see a classic kind of Skyfire aggression where they're just going to be everywhere and nowhere and being able to frag it out as crazy and as quickly as possible. Man, it's taken a while to get into my Red Bulls now, not as cold as it usually is straight out of the fridge. Very upsetting for me, you guys. You got to understand, when you crack open the Red Bull, it's got to have that ice-cold freshness to it, but I suppose this will still do. I mean, 4 players will still get to enjoy that very feeling after the conclusion of Season 3, so... by the way, do make sure to type an !vote if you do want to be drawn in. Yeah, last night for fan vote. Yeah. Do want to be voted in, or rather drawn in for the fan vote, like Smite said. But looking at the Skyfire setup,
they are bringing in a new,
Look at my evil eye.
what is that is seeming to be going for just a few reinforcements and maybe some upstairs setup. The hatch on the garage side has been opened up, which does also signify that Mute could have been holding his position there, but it seems that maybe it's going to be a fallback ground for either Vigil of Smacker or the Jaeger of Mateus. So, few variations.
Jigsaw.
Or Jigsaw's position is going to be pretty spicy.
He's got a little line of sight out the door, hitting Steffi T's feet. But it wasn't enough to get the deal done. However, that is a very low amount of health.
Yeah, for Steffi T right now, it is going to be a very dangerous decision if he would want to go for some of the gunfights. But it seems that at the moment, it's Pond that is going to be droning out and trying to figure out as to where his position is going to be. And there is actually a top-down clear, so right now Shaq is actually pretty keen on finding a frag here.
Yep, got the live drones to keep him safe as well, so should be completely fine. Although it was spotted out on the camera, but it doesn't matter. That all happened in just about a second. Very, very quick moves from the man Shaq.
Yummy headshot there from the Hash player of PC419. Definitely fighting some revenge onto Jigsaw is a good beginning here, but now it still needs to get rid of Kubrian's position because that is going to be a very crucial one to take, given how much information and how much angles can they take from just that angle on the hatch.
Yeah, basically a necessity for them to clear him out at this point, right? You can't just leave him there towards the end of the game. You got to eventually hit the ball too, Tesla. Man, he must be lagging a lot here to miss that many times. But could also be baiting out the swing audio, I don't know. But Kubrian here has got the line down, but look, you can tell they're still just trying to hunt him out. They need to flush him out. As I said, how important it is before. They still have a few drones too, but here they are. They're now working on the ADS, chucks the C4, and bails back downstairs. He'll be all good, but that's now Kubrian flushed out with a minute to go.
Bit of an interesting thing, the fact that Tesla didn't just decide to peek and shoot out those ADS, and instead it was Steffi T that used up quite a fair bit of his utility. As there was a clear line of sight without even Kubrian peeking that angle, so definitely has me a little bit puzzled there. But at the very least, hey, quite a fair bit of information is being gathered around here, and quite a fair bit of knowledge about the general whereabouts of, at the very least, the Wamai is there. But you look at the health bars of the defense, and it's not looking, or rather attack, and it's not looking quite well. For defense, though, it's just flat out death here for Jigsaw and Smacker.
Yeah, they're actually smashing out these frags, and PC419 still have a few drones left. They've even got the Iana hologram too, so they've got all that information now that they've just gained from that. 5 people to go downstairs. The 2 low health people, they can just sit above. That's fine. While the 3 full health people go in, and particularly Plant with Hun right now. Vlad's gone down, but it has been traded back, so Skyfire need to get a little bit better than that if they want to steal this round away, but PC419 will not let them.
Very nice, very swift take of the garage and cafeteria, and a very good coordination as well from PC419, despite some of the hiccups on that room clear a little bit. Still managing to take very good care of it. That initial frag onto Jigsaw was a crisp aim from Shaq, so look,
yep,
all the props to him.
They droned Shaq out, droned him out for Shaq at that point, so he knew exactly where to aim. But yeah, I mean, even then, the moves just look so slick, clean, and fast. So you can tell Shaq is feeling it tonight. And if you're playing against him, if you are, you know, Smacker or anyone on Skyfire right now, you're worried if Shaq is turning up to play.
Yeah, I mean, Shaq has been turning up for a fair few rounds here, so can't really say that he's woken up. It's more so just he is reactivated yet again.
He's still wide awake, right? The problem is he hasn't fallen asleep, which you know is not something you should really hope for. But yeah, it's confirming. Yes, Shaq, he's here to play just like every other week that he's been popping off monstrously.
Main question here for me is going to be how will the rest of the roster actually perform? Because while Shaq was able to get himself a triple as well as that Tesla to find himself a double, everyone else is still yet to kind of find their mojo. We haven't seen a whole lot of like big highlight plays yet from PC419 apart from that round. But apart from that, really, it's well, we are going to be back to somewhat of a similar hold here, although for a completely different side. There's going to be lobby and piano room, but there's still going to be a fair bit of the vertical presence from up above by Skyfire, so wouldn't go past the fact that we may have to see a very top-down heavy kind of roam clear that will be required of PC419.
Thing is, though, it's either going to be very funneled or very known because they're playing the castle upstairs, so they've got a lot of parts cut off, so they're either going to have to use a utility to blow it up, make a lot of noise, or go the other way, or not go for the top-down clear, which I don't know if that's going to be on the table for PC419, so they're very likely just going to try and get through it, blow up in these castle doors. They've got the Ash, they've got the Zoff. They're just going to make a little bit of noise doing it, but...
They have the Sledge for it as well.
Oh, yeah, of course, Sledge, but, I mean, that's still kind of noisy.
Yeah.
Not as bad.
Not as bad, though. Yeah, I would actually, arguably, I would probably say that Sledge is probably the most quietest one out of all of them, given that.
Maverick?
Yeah, Maverick, maybe. But look, already the breach into the admin has been done, and already we're going to be seeing one of the ceramic barricades to be got rid of. And a fair few drones are there to gather some information about the general kind of position of the Skyfire members. The PC419 roster should know already that there's a two-man presence upstairs. They wouldn't be too knowledgeable about the spiral stairs, at least just yet, but at the very least they know that player has fallen back to the exit stairs, and Vlad is actually going to be doubling down on that info gathering, and will be trying to get some information. Now they know that there might be some presence on the spiral stairs, but with Jigsaw now returning back to the site, this is only going to be an illusion, which could actually work out for PC4, or rather for Skyfire against PC419 quite well. And Smack has actually opened up with Jigsaw getting the kill into Shaq. So two very impactful kills now will be forcing PC419 to actually start going through the ground floor.
Yeah, and that was a rough situation as well for Jigsaw to get out of, but he managed to do it, take down Shaq, who we've been hyping up. So that's a really good result for Skyfire. They could probably potentially hold on to this one. This is what the last round could have looked like, because they got two people down to basically no health. Pun. Oh boy, okay, he evens it up now by getting that one headshot there onto Jigsaw as well, no less. So a really good, valuable one, but they need a bit more value than that, and not a lot of time to get it.
Well, they know exactly where the Jaeger is of Mateus now that the gunfight has begun, but it's player to actually find the shot onto Tesla did not find really any kind of success there for himself. And with the fact that there's no vertical control there by PC419, this is going to be a rough play. Although Pan and Vlad don't care, he managed to find that shot. Player is trying his best to really get the kill onto the ace player of Pan, but right now it's only all down to him, and he needs to prevent the plant to go down. But the plant is about to be settled in just less than a second, and well, there we go. It's a post-plant situation. 1v2, and funnily enough, PC419 were able to turn it around from 4v2 to 2v1. And my goodness, this is looking pretty dominant from them if they are able to come back from such deficit.
Yeah, but that's it. They've got to close it out, and the red pings make this a lot easier now for player to close out. He's got the 1v1 now. Vlad's now walked over a goo mine, so he's either got to deal with it or stand still for a very long time, but it doesn't matter. Player walks into the bait, through the barbed wire, and Vlad does not let that one slip away from PC419 after grasping him back.
Not at all. I mean, the Vlad could really afford not pulling out the goo mine just because he was on full health. So he could very much still take that gunfight, especially against the UMP-45. So still it was a very dominant position for him. But nonetheless, a 3-1 scoreline is already a huge thing here. After a multitude of rehosts, I would imagine that some of the players will be already feeling a little bit anxious maybe about this matchup. But lobby and press room will be a retry though from Skyfire, and we are seeing already a change up. That is Mateus to bring in a Goyo rather than the Jaeger.
Yeah, Goyo is an interesting one here. Keen to see where he gets fit into the lineup along here. See how Skyfire set up this defense, because it does have to be something new to come out here. It's not currently working. Remember, they had a 5v3 at some point during that round, and they even had, you know, not too much more time to run down. You get PC419 still come back in, steal the round away. So yeah, Skyfire, they're on their back foot right now. They need to pull out something new. Maybe this Goyo is going to be what that new is, but yeah, we have to see it work out right now. There's been a lot of upstairs presence. They've even been bringing the castle here again for players, so expect to see a lot of attention upstairs. But with Mateus down here with this Goyo shield, that is going to take a while to deal with.
Main issue here is going to be the fact that Skyfire do not have any kind of projectile denial. no Jaeger, no Wamai is going to be here. So even when it comes down to protecting those Goyo shields, nothing is going to save them, really. So it's more so just temporary setback, maybe a sponge for that utility. And maybe this is actually the play here. Instead of being able to zap out that utility, they're just going to try to turn two of their operators' utility into just that kind of explosive sponges.
Just eat up all that utility. You got the castle to eat up a bunch as well. Unfortunately, Tesla's got quite a lot of swings on that hammer, but here's the man of the hour. At least 2 rounds ago he was. Shaq has been hunting around downstairs, going for a bit of a clear to see if he can find anything. And there it is, Tesla with the beautiful hammer to open up the door. But what are they going to find from it here? Smacker, he makes the push forward to see if he can take advantage of it, but he might be a little bit stuck here. He's pinned between Shaq. No, not anymore. He rips his way through Shaq and now has an escape path. But he's not even going for it. He's still sticking around. Tesla looks away potentially at the very wrong time, but Smacker, oh my word. Okay, they do shut him down eventually, but that took a bit of effort.
It took quite some time as well as, yeah, losing Shaq could have been averted if there was a little bit more pressure from the top of the spiral stairs, but alas, none of that did come around. There is a crossfire actually held from both the ground floor and the second floor, so that does potentially signify that there may need to be a push up on the top floor, and that is a very interesting set of angles that is being utilized by the player, given that he has that shotgun to make those openings in the floor, so this is the prime time for him to shine, really.
And no one's dealt with Mateus just yet either, so he's still got this position to hold. Can rotate around back if he really needs to, but you can see that we're still worried about clearing any pathways from upstairs. If you're PC419, you know that players like Kubrian are hanging around here still. You know, players been upstairs the whole game, so they're still trying to flush it out. Vlad's going to check downstairs. Unfortunately, it's the other way. And his hologram is going to have to last long enough to make it up there. Can run onto the site too and maybe bait out a few shots, but Steffi's been killed in the meantime. Kubrian to pick that one up, and now they can trade it onto player as well, getting rid of the castle. So still Kubrian to deal with upstairs, but a little bit of progress. But 30 seconds to go.
Mateus right now could be in a huge position here. Whilst he did get spotted out, there's a fair few breaches that he may be able to contest. Vlad already getting rid of already gotten rid of rather by Jigsaw. And Mateus connecting that shot does leave Tesla as the last man standing.
Wonder where he's planning.
But yeah, look, that didn't really work out there. So Skyfire do manage to push themselves a little bit closer to on that scoreline, but that was definitely a little bit of a sloppy round there from PC419, given that they had all of the information really to play off that. It just seemed that the coordination wasn't particularly in their favor.
Yeah, and just, you know, a presence overwhelming almost from the upstairs. You know, Kubrian player played that pretty well. Player eventually getting caught out, but yeah, there was just not really much, if any, presence that PC419 could have from upstairs. They tried to make it work from downstairs, and you know, even then only got a trade onto Smacker in the stairs. So yeah, look, solid round coming out for them. That was the round that they didn't have the Jaeger as well. This time Smacker's pulling that one back. No more Goyo, so we're going to go back to having that protection from the explosives, but yeah, looking at it now, of course a different site means maybe they don't want to bring the Goyo after all.
Bombs as they can.
Yeah, just maybe. Maybe Goyo was that kind of a emergency pick for just the firepower, because arguably the Vector at certain ranges is definitely much better in damage per second than the 416.
Bomb located by attackers.
That one at all, but look, looking right now at the setup that Skyfire are bringing in, it is looking like we might be seeing a very kind of more sort of a standardized kind of defense from them, just to see if they can just add more swings, more firepower
5
to
seconds
it.
left.
Jigsaw's almost definitely going to try his luck with the front door again, trying to get the feet holes, I think. I mean, he's looking for something here downstairs, I imagine, but maybe not going to go for the lobby after all. But you've got Kubrian downstairs too, so once again, you've got those two players roaming around. This time instead of player, it's going to be Jigsaw. So big deal for PC419 to clear out firsthand, but now they know they've got a clear little path into the garage. They could make their way there, but it's actually just going to be mostly focused onto the stairs.
Stairs control here on the console office is going to be crucial here not only is one of the main entry points, as well as that, this could be a huge foothold for the attacking team to really take control here. So nothing too big just yet, apart from the fact that Smacker got forced out of his position. So exit stairs are right for the taking, but I do believe that Kubrian is actually holding his position in the bathroom, but bathroom has been completely sealed off by the reinforcements. So at the very least, the top landing of the exit stairs is going to be free for PC419 to take, but a C4 maybe over the wall could be thrown around, but Kubrian instead just will be forced out of his position, and in a very peculiar place, because this could be all pre-fired and naded easily.
Got the C4 in hand, and you know what he's thinking too. He knows exactly where they are, but which door are they going to come through? The breach or the main door? Tesla through the breach, and now it's getting split up. Kubrian may just get jumped on here, but he's pushing forward with C4 in hand, yeets it out, and just barely doesn't get pun at the end. And he's still alive, by the way. Can he get out of here alive? Tesla should surely be looking to hunt him down right now, but Kubrian, he's still staring down the stairs, Cthulhu. And he gets pun from it too, but eventually Tesla gets the job done to trade it back, but he's not finished yet either. He's still looking for more. Vlad has fallen down to Smacker, and here we are, Cthulhu. What a rush.
What a rush indeed. I'm definitely still puzzled as to how come there were not a whole lot of pre-fires really to come around from PC419, knowing how close some of the players were. But look, as it is, we already are in the 4v3 situation. We've seen a similar outcome previously, and PC419 were able to make a comeback from that. But at the console office, with the way how little ground PC419 has taken, this is definitely not looking too favorable for them.
Yeah, this looks like another round where they actually had the numbers advantage, but were in this position. They've got a little bit more of a push from the stairs this time, so maybe a little bit of extra ground, but it's not really in the right direction. So they're arguably facing the same problem again. There's definitely some C4 still left for Skyfire. 20 seconds. Good luck getting that plant down with all of that still in position. And your diffuser now dropped on the side too. Shaq trying to make it work, and PC419 actually getting some frags out of this. They could even arguably go for the plant, but Shaq wants to get more and more kills because he knows he has no time. But now it's fully up, literally up, and he has to plant, but can't even go for it at all. Skyfire pick up the win.
Well. Skyfire still able to claw away the point advantage from PC419. Certainly will be quite happy about this very outcome, given that the scoreline initially in the first quarter of the map has been looking fairly grim for them, but in the past two rounds definitely were able to run away with few of the points. So with the 3 apiece scoreline now, and with the fact that Skyfire are now going to be going onto the offense rather than staying on defense, it is now time for PC419 to show what they've been prepping up here, because so far we haven't really seen a whole lot of anything really spectacular from them, apart from a few good clutches here and there. So maybe the defense is going to be the main thing where we shall be seeing the PC419 squad to really pop off.
Yeah, remember we said that PC419, this is their map pick. You don't pick Consular unless you have a reason for it. We presume the reason is going to be that they've got something saucy, something special to come out. We haven't seen it yet, maybe on defense, but another reason it could be Cthulhu is that maybe they just know that Skyfire have not been practicing this map, that it's not going to be in their pool, right? I mean, not a lot of teams like this map, so that's not actually out of this world, so could also arguably be that. So if we don't see anything special from them on the defense, Cthulhu, I think PC419, they picked it for that reason.
10 seconds to insertion.
ADS active in a second.
Seems that definitely there's an
ADS.
attempt to have that kind of the element of surprise going for them. Curious to me
Attackers
that
are moving out to locate a bomb and
PC419 actually decided to place quite a fair bit of utility actually around that bathroom entrance, so they are planning to bank on it very heavily. But once again, that wall, the double wall in the bathroom has not been reinforced, so once that gets breached, pretty much all 3 of those ADSs could be shot out, which will be an indication essentially for whoever's holding there to essentially fall back and get out. But oh, talking about getting out, Shaq is the one to actually get out and get a kill onto Jigsaw, as the man could not really expect that kind of a shot.
Yeah, and you could just see the difference in the speed of how they're pushing through. Skyfire were going through very quickly, Jigsaw in particular. He's punished for it for looking away at the wrong time, and now with that, they've got the 4-man squad. At least it happened quickly, so you've got a bit of time to try and sort out how you're working out this 4v5, but Yeah, it might be your plan, right? Going through the bathroom, trying to break through those ADS with minimal utility usage, and then just going from the top down.
Yeah, minimal utility usage could be a thing, but I don't think it will actually be possible here. Already, Smacker finding a shot onto Shaq to find a some sort of retaliation here. This is certainly going to be a good start, but with a 4v4, Skyfire looking at some possibilities of maybe finding another frag before they actually going to go and start going for the push.
They've only got 2 drones left as well for Skyfire, so not a lot to use for the intel, particularly if they do get shot out straight away. There goes another one, so player only with the remaining drones now, trying to make this one work. So Tesla, he held the bathroom for quite a while last time, but here we go, the breach coming in. How long can he last? He's prepping to just jump out at the moment's notice. He managed to get out last time, so should be no problem to do it again, but you've got Smacker on one side trying to get in, trying to find a way to get people from above as well. Tesla seems to be actually quite safe in the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, his ADSs have not been shot out. The mute jammer is still there to prevent that ace charge to breach, really. So it's more so just all the chaos is happening around him. But his presence, his menacing presence in the bathroom is still there to really, for Skyfire to really deal with. And it seems that they have actually elected to just play very, kind of, in a very chill way to really just ignore his position and all. And well, so far it kind of worked out, but only partially, as we still are on a 3 versus 3, but make it 3 versus 2 as Tesla is actually opens up onto Smacker.
Oh, and that plant is actually going down right now. Mateus watching upstairs, but there it is. He gets the plant down, unfortunately loses his life for it. I don't think Mateus knows if he can do this one or not. He's got a good little line from the outside, so he should be able to hold this pretty well, but one stray shot on him, few extra defenders to try and get a crossfire on him. They may even need to go for a bit of a bait here. He's going to try and get the res just to get the extra body to try and bait out a shot from Mateus. But they don't have long. They got to make this plan work nice and quickly. Tesla going for the run out. He calls it and takes him out too. Another one coming from behind the car. Gets one, gets 2! Mateus will not let anyone stop Skyfire winning that round.
Oh my goodness. I mean, props to BC419 for trying that strat, but that definitely has backfired onto them. Only a matter of just about a second that they really missed out on that opportunity. And well, that is already a point advantage for Skyfire.
Oh, I mean, but what could you do in that situation? I mean, he managed to run all the way outside to the spawn. The plant was in a great spot for him to cover. So the run out sounded like it was arguably just the only thing they had left to go for, apart from arguably baiting him out. But, I mean, he's got the windows in the car to just keep his eyes on you, so arguably just such a strong position and so smart for Mateus to play it that way and to steal that round back. So a lead now, like you mentioned, coming into this one. Finally, Skyfire getting that lead they were looking for. PC419, their map pick. Remember, we talked about how important it's going to be for them to win this one, because after it, it's Skyfire's arguably even more famous map on Coastline. And you don't want to go into that map down.
Yeah, most definitely. Coastline is certainly, well, it is a map that requires a slightly different skill set, or rather different play style for it to be quite successful. It still requires quite a fair bit of coordination, which so far we haven't really seen a whole lot, or rather a successful coordination from PC419 on their defense, which is an alarming sign, really, given that their attack was actually pretty well done, pretty well sorted out, but that whole defense of Garage seemed to be a little bit misplayed, as Steffi just takes a few pellets to the back of his head through the floor.
Oh, you know. You know, when your mate's doing some renovations upstairs, you expect a few wood chips to drop down, but yeah, I mean, look, that one, most of that last round was played out pretty well, actually. You know, they had the defense. Tesla was in that position for 90% of the round and only died for the run out. So, you know, letting the plant go down and letting Mateus get out, that was probably just the game-changing, the round-changing mistake there coming out. But we'll see if they can fix that, because it is a retry. They'll get another shot at it. Tesla's going to be in the same spot. Shaq was also the first one to go down last round for his team, so perhaps he'll be able to stay alive a little bit longer this time. It was after the Ash went down on the other side, which this time it's going to be Mateus to drop down first. One drone down, but there were two, so he had to run out of there. And whew, a little bit of information, a little bit of action to start things off. And Mateus, I think he got a bit greedy stepping in.
Yeah. Feeling a little bit like a Colossus there after that huge 1v3 clutch. Definitely seemed to have gotten in his head for a little bit, but look, it's still not over yet. I mean, we've seen that before when the first frag did go into the hands of PC419. Unfortunately for them, they did lose out that gunfight whenever that happened. So, for what it's worth, it's still very much workable here for both of the rosters, as a matter of fact.
Skyfire has spent half the round now going for a top-down clear, at least with, you know, Smack It and Jigsaw to clear it out, but for good reason. They've got Vlad up here. They've got Shaq up here. They've got to find out where they are. They've found Player. Or maybe, you know, Player's been found by them. So Tesla claims that one. And now Kubrine may be the next one to fall from the hatch above and from his own floor. He's in a bit of trouble. Shaq also could be on the hunt at any moment's notice. This is a very spread out, but very roaming defense from PC419, and I'm loving it so far. Big, big value. And what can Skyfire do?
Not a whole lot, really, as it's seeming to be all falling apart there for this team. Because all down to Smacker, really, to do anything. And look, it's certainly not particularly looking too swell here for the man. 1v4 is definitely a tall order to ask, and even in his first gunfight here against Vlad, he's taking quite some damage. Although able to find that headshot is definitely a good beginning, but the fact that Shaq is actually playing on a prone position and had the element of surprise could have been huge, but long reloads could be an issue. That's a very interesting pre-fire up above, but look, that's about all that could have been really done here so far. So he's going to let the timer run out, and we are going to be going back to the draw.
Well, he gets one on the way out.
Operators, you have run out of
You'll
time.
take that for sure. PC419 though, like you said, evening it up. So looks like we are getting treated to that very close match that we were predicting here. But I wonder what's going to happen once we leave Consulate. It could be very different, but for now, it is incredibly, incredibly close. A lot of top-down clears are coming out for Skyfire, but it's taking them time. And as we saw in that round and the round before it, you know, time. You know, even though they won the round before, time is starting to become an issue. Time starting to become a problem. So, you know, they're being very thorough in their clears for sure, but I mean, PC419 are making them spend a lot of time to do it.
Yeah. Look, PC419 certainly has finally nailed their momentum here, and how do they want to approach their defense. They're finally seeming to be able to nail the momentum that is coming out from
many bombs as they can.
Skyfire. So it's a good thing for them. For Skyfire though, they need to start really changing things around if they do want to come out successful here.
Yeah, and another thing they might need to do is watch their toes, because you look over at PC419, that is 4 C4s that are being brought, a bulletproof camera to maybe even help out, spot out some of those C4 spots, so, you know, depending on how that camera is used. So, PC419, this is a round that could very cleanly go their way, played right, or they can just take a real early advantage. It just takes 1 C4 to connect, to get a kill that the attackers are never going to be able to refrag back.
C4s are definitely going to be the big dictators of the game here. So, certainly...
Valk Pulse.
Yeah, Valk Pulse. Yeah, Pulse, namely, is going to be the main kind of director of that explosive orchestra here. So, certainly, for Skyfire, they would want to get rid of it first, and then maybe the Valkyrie cameras as well. So, meanwhile, we are going to be seeing potentially a top-down floor clear by Skyfire, which is not a bad idea once again. And already going to be spotting out a few of those castle barricades as well, which will be forcing potentially Smacker to just go and, well, smack really the barricades.
Problem is smacking, it kind of requires you being very close, and that can be very dangerous. So,
exactly.
As you can see, Smacker will want to drone out. He's been droning for quite a while there to even just get inside the window. He's still going. See, you can see him. So you have to be very careful moving into this one. Already you can see a minute down now for Skyfire, so they've been working hard on this one. Mateus is a big job because there is a lot for him to clear. You've got the Valcans, you've got the pests, mostly those to get rid of, but even a few extra things to find. But Tesla finds the real prize, but unfortunately, he's got to return it for full price because it's just been traded straight back onto him. So just a little bit of time bought, if anything.
Although it's still a very impactful one, getting rid of player and his fire and smoke bolts is going to be a huge thing. But right now, Shaq's position could be very much in danger. He is on the opposite side of that soft wall, so theoretically the line of sight is gone. But the moment there's going to be some information coming out as to where that castle is, he could be dead very quickly.
Jigsaw, also the only player with a single drone left at the moment, so yeah, Shaq, he's very unknown about what and where he is peeking, gets a little bit of damage but didn't seal the deal. It's instead Smacker to do it and get rid of him, so they've got it set up right now, and there it goes. Eventually they get him too. Smacker, he's just going to drop all the way down. He's done his job. He knows where the real goal is. His eyes are on the prize, and he wants to clean up Vlad as well, but no, Pun and Vlad get their own job done. They've set up a 2v2.
Pun was actually able to drop the diffuser, which is a huge thing. Now, for Vlad, with him being the last man standing, he needs to stay alive for as long as possible and prevent that plant to go down. It seemed that the initial aim was to actually get the plant in the archives, but maybe that plan has been actually changed around as Smack is already sprinting up on the top floor, as they now know that Vlad is actually downstairs, so it would really be a pretty good decision for them to go for a plant. Now, theoretical knowledge about the general whereabouts is there, but Vlad needs to actually nail his shots here, which not going to be happening. Skyfire to win out round number 9.
I was going to point out the positioning of the plant too. It was put up on top of the desk, so if they got it down, they could defend it super easily too. So yeah, look, Skyfire certainly didn't want to let that one slip away, so they'll once again take the lead here. They're now 1 round away from locking in overtime, getting match points secured. That's where momentum really starts to swing. It's the next step, so to win this round would be insanely good for them. It would put the pressure onto PC419, who we've been tooting about having to win this map round after round, so they seriously want to even it up here. Again, go by the script, get back to that 5v5, maybe even take match point the next round.
Taking a match point here and running away with it against Skyfire, that would be a biggest flex that PC419 could right now do, especially after against their probably largest rivals here throughout multiple seasons. Doing it against Skyfire is going to be quite a large comeback story, seeing as it was Skyfire that eliminated PC419 in Season 2 out of the playoffs.
Indirectly, yeah.
And during the first season, they had a few grudge matches going, although for PC419, they unfortunately, during first season, fell short even before making it to even remotely close to the playoffs.
To be fair, that was back when it was Season 1 was an elimination bracket, so
That's correct.
You have a bad start, then yeah, you don't get to show up later. Whereas PC419, I feel like this season have certainly just gotten better and better and better as the season has gone on. Skyfire have unfortunately slowed them down here at this point, though. They've kind of caught up to them and surpassed them here. Remember, after the round robin, we had 3 teams tied at second place on the same points, so these semi-finals are certainly going to be close, and this is certainly proof of it.
Yeah, having a very close scoreline, at least from the round robin, is definitely a good indication that so many matches are going to be pretty close once we get to the playoffs. And well, sure, we already did get a pretty close matchup yesterday, but today is promising to be even closer one. Already 5-4 scoreline, and it's promising that we might be actually going to the overtime as well if things keep going this way. Going to be quite certainly a test for the endurance for both of these teams, as right now Jigsaw actually taking way less damage compared to Tesla, and will be forcing the Malusi player out of his comfort zone.
Yeah, big risky plays from Jigsaw this round, but it seems to be paying off at least a little bit more in his favor. A run out comes in from Vlad, but immediately it's traded, but he did pick up his kill, so it wasn't all for nothing. So with that, they've dropped the diffuser. Now the attackers are going to have to run around and go and grab it again, so that's in itself is going to be kind of annoying.
Yeah, and talking about annoyance though, Tesla will have plenty of the utility to really go for him if he wants to keep the attackers from pushing in anytime soon. The sledge, though, will be able to get rid of one of the set of the barbed wire, and a frag grenade will be eaten up by one out of the 3 ADSs, so this is a huge thing here. 2 more is there, but Shaq won't be waiting for those ADSs to be drained out. Instead goes in for the frag and gets rid of Smacker. So that's, once again, bottom of the exit stairs has been completely retaken by the defense, and now it's actually the vertical play from up above that is remaining off Skyfire, because Kubrian is still trying to find that shot onto Tesla.
Yeah, and Diffuser still miles away for Skyfire, right? You've got IQ all the way over here, nowhere near the stairs, and still Diffuser all the way out there. Jigsaw finally will get Tesla out of the way. He was on so low health for such a long time. Kubrian can actually go grab the Diffuser here, so not actually as big a problem as maybe we were thinking, but with only 30 seconds to go, 2.5 health bars to work with, Shaq hunting you from below, this could be a bit of a problem here. You might not have time to drone him out. In fact, only Mateus has the drones anyway, and he's not on the side of the map.
Yeah, Mateus right now droning up ahead. Wouldn't really have a whole lot of time. The whole of Skyfire roster needs to focus on the fragging power. Shaq already finding the shot onto Kubrian is a great thing, but oh, that is a very interesting parkour position as well. Mateus is going to try to frag out, but no, that is not going to happen. Steffi and Shaq will be coming through and winning out the round. Now we're back to a draw once again. Both teams continuing to trade blows left, right, and center.
I knew it would come to this, because now we've got to send at least one team to that match point here. One of them's got to come out on top. It's going to be a basement hold, so once more, this one has gone very interestingly for PC419. Tesla has had an incredibly strong presence in the bathroom every time on the site, so he can hold that place forever with the setup that they've got on it. And arguably, that could even be part of the reason they've picked up Consulate. I mean, the fact that they've been able to stick Tesla there every time reliably, and he's been able to play off it so well.
And that is a really good thought, really. Not a whole lot of teams do able to keep holding their positions in a very confident manner, so certainly seeing that Tesla is able to do that very confidently on mute is a good opening and a good decision here. So yeah, maybe it was more so kind of a hidden comfort pick here for PC419, although, well, I say comfort pick. We are on a 5-5 scoreline here.
Yeah, well, we'll see what it could look like on Coastline in a game, maybe, but that could be very different. But, of course, it could also go very close, too. So we've got the Cayenne up on the wall here. We're going to have 2 of them just to make sure that can't just get both of them done at the same time. No Carly shenanigans if that ever showed up, but for now, I think Steffi T may be setting something up a little bit here, because he's hanging out here. No, okay, no, he's going to have to run away. Don't worry about it. Just setting up his cams and getting in a position, but perhaps we may see a single run out where you see a few defenders hanging out by the windows. Maybe we get that peak kill, and actually, it's sent back to Tesla. Oh no, one of the strongest holds. Actually, so Vlad's got to take over him now. He's got to hold the bathroom.
Well, Vlad took quite a fair bit of damage as well amongst all of those rotations, so that is the last thing that PC419 would want here, especially on such an important round that will be guaranteeing one of the teams a match point. Certainly not the beginning that they would have been hoping for. Now Steffi will have to really hold around the area and see if he can support Vlad as much as he can, but with minimal amount of info gathering, with minimal amount of well, way less C4s than they would have wanted, it's going to be quite a rough one, really, especially with the fact that Steffi previously has been going for quite a bit of roam.
Well, I kind of wonder, they've now reinforced a little bit more into the bathroom here. The ADS, I don't see quite as many of Vlad, will just drop down instead, so giving it up the bathroom pretty early, actually. No one really pushing on it. Only player kind of keeping his eye on it, so with that, I wonder if they've droned it out yet to know that they can safely get inside and even take over the bathroom themselves.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, there we go.
Going to be a question already. Oh, Vlad gets taken down and injured. This is going to be an issue here, as the aggression is definitely going to be turned up all the way. Steffi already taking quite some damage as well, whereas Skyfire, the remaining 4 players are still full health, but Bon is able to retaliate back onto Smacker, so it is going to be still a 4v3. Vlad needs to be picked back up as quickly as possible before it goes down to a 3v3, which certainly looking like this might happen No, will be picked up but instantly finished off by player, and Shaq is able to actually get a refrag back onto player, so we still have the man advantage to go in favor of PC419.
Yeah, you can see why it took them so long. Kubrian being such a nuisance up there, preventing any kind of resurrect. There's still a little bit of time here, but PC419 have the numbers to hold them off. Steffi has to be a little careful, but that's a little bit it. The only problem, though, is all that vertical presence that can come from above. Kubrian, like we've said, has been hunting up there. You can still hear the shots coming from the man, but at some point, these two people upstairs, they have to send one of them down. Skyfire, they have to get that plant going or get all these frags, and well, there is not a lot of time to do it, and PC419, they've been waiting patiently. So Kubrian, it's time to activate to see if he can find the one frag that he's really going to need before he jumps down. It's already a numbers disadvantage. And we're setting up for the drop. Here's Jigsaw to jump on right in. Immediately, Kubrian's taken down, and so is Jigsaw. Just by Shaq, he can do the job alone.
PC419 able to finally claw away a match point here for themselves, but here comes the question now. So far, we've seen both teams just keep on trading blows back and forth. Theoretically, Skyfire could really win out this round and push this into overtime, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is going to be the case. We've already seen a very close game yesterday, so maybe here Skyfire will be able to push this back. Otherwise, PC419 are only one step away from winning themselves map number 1.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got one overtime last night, so we could easily get one again tonight. We also did have a 7-5 though, so we could skip it entirely here in map number 1. But
definitely,
yeah, look, it's going to be Archives and Tellers, a bit more of an interesting site here. Teams not always as used to it, not favored to it, so it could be a bit of an uphill battle for PC419 to hold on to it and just win outright here. But I mean, look, they're on a bit of a roll, but as you said, you know, it's been going punch for punch, blow for blow. Skyfire could just pull it back here and send us to overtime. It's hard to tell. Each round has felt like a coin flip.
Well, Archives, when it was previously defended by PC419, it was a win for Skyfire. So it could still be a big win here. I see you pointing at that 4C4 lineup once again. This could be yet again huge, but last time we did see this site come around again, we didn't really see a whole lot of C4 usage either.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the C4s have actually been kind of quiet, even though PC419 have obviously been picking them up a huge amount. We see quite a big amount of upstairs presence coming in for PC419 again. They've got a few castle doors upstairs too, so again, this is going to be likely forcing into a top-down clear for Skyfire to get this one all cleared out. I mean, it's already a site that covers 2 different floors, so you may as well just get the whole building clear while you're at it.
Maybe. That does depend though on how quickly can they clear it out, because already having some presence in the visa is going to be a huge thing as well to really consider here by Skyfire. And now it kind of narrows almost down the area that they want to really clear out, because otherwise things could be getting really dicey really quickly if they won't clear out that presence from up around the visa area.
Yeah, and just look at how much attention Kubrian's got onto the garage here. Pun will have probably heard the breach, but apart from that, there's not really any threat here. Vlad's now coming down after hearing that blow, so that's going to be probably the 1v1 he's going to have to get through to get upstairs, but that's a minute blown now to get downstairs. Player and his drone friend there, along with Smacker, have been clearing along just fine. Actually, horizontal clear coming in. It's like a west to east clear rather than a top down.
Possibly. Well, Mateus is the one to actually open up the scoreline here onto Steffi, and that is from the window outside. Not even yet making an entry into the building is certainly going to be a way to really start off the attack here for what potentially could be the savior round for Skyfire. Obviously, we've seen previous round to also kickstart in a similar way, where it was an early frag for Skyfire and then PC419 to make a huge return. So not everything is over yet. The drone does certainly signal about the general position of Pun, and yet another drone is there to be spent. But no actual emphasis on that position just yet. There may be a swing by player in just a few short moments, but even then it's going to be under a large question mark as to who's going to come out victorious. And oh, a 3-man pinch on that position is a fantastic way to really perform. But Vlad has something to say about it. Finds one, only one kill is going to be there, but still a 2v3 situation between Tesla and Shaq. They have all the needed really utility to just deny the plant potentially.
That fight from Vlad was basically their ticket back in there. If they could have won that 1v2 and kept him alive, could have been the win. But the plant now going down, nothing to stop it. Tesla can't do it from above, and so now they're going to have to go downstairs to try and hunt. Is anyone covering it from above? I don't believe so. No C4s in hand either, so Tesla and Shaq, they don't even get the pulse scans on them just yet either. They're nice and far away. Mateus has got a nice little cover on it. So is Jigsaw from quite far away. This is going to be a very difficult one to clear out, but 3 people to do it. Maybe they can try and get this one done, but nope. No, only Tesla to drop on down, and there is no way he's making it out of this one. He can get 1, but not 2, not 3, and not the round. Skyfire sending us to overtime. Cthulhu.
There we go. Very, very good control of the downstairs floor, and a fantastic pinch, I gotta say. Skyfire definitely has put quite some time into just learning how to really get rid of some of the pushes on this map, and certainly did reward them with yet another chance at winning out this map.
Really good patience too, right? Like, you could have easily just gone full ego and gone for a solo push onto that stairs, but calling in the boys to make sure you get it done, that is the way to do it here in a semi-final, to send us to overtime where every little difference counts here. Because you know the small things can change around, and you know that a small, 1 round difference could be whether we go to overtime or not. And here we are in overtime. So we're sending Skyfire over to the attack once more to see if they can continue their momentum after just picking up the last round.
Yeah, this has been a very
need to locate
a very powerful side from Skyfire. I gotta say that we're able to really, it seems, dictate the pace through and through, and it was down to kind of PC419 to just kind of adjust on the go, it seems. Whereas the attack from PC419 felt still like it was Skyfire that was dictating that pace. Like it was them kind of setting it all the time, and it's more so a game of adaptation from PC419, which definitely didn't look too convincing there.
Man, you really got to thread the needle on this one. It just clips onto that cabinet so easily, but gets it in the end, setting himself up nice for overtime, as you would love to do. PC49, they get the basement defense, so this is one that they've quite enjoyed so far, but one of the times they did win it, did lose it, was one that they basically won. It's just that Skyfire slipped in and somehow won a 1v3 outside the map, but we'll see if that does become a repeat. We're kicking things off with Jigsaw looking to find his way in again. Steffi T's going to be holding the lobby and having his own way to escape back to the stairs, back to the spiral stairs down, and he knows someone's out the front door, or at least poking their head in. How long is he going to stay downstairs though?
Yeah, that is going to be an age-long question that won't be answered just yet. What we shall be seeing though is that Skyfire going to be going for a top-down push, and well, rightfully so, will be forcing Shaq out of his position because he is expecting a full-blown war party to come around to his place to force him out of there, and potentially a swing to come around in a short few moments, but actually peeks away from it at just the right time before any kind of trouble comes around, and able to actually escape the other gunfighter with only about 25 HP lost.
I was going to say, Kubrian had the line of sight on the stairs, cutting off his escape, but Shaq, I guess he managed to Houdini his way out and managed to sneak back down completely safe. So that buys a fair amount of time, but PC49 have now actually been pushed back from the site, apart from Tesla, who's presumably going to be in this singular room for the entire round here. And even just hiding all the way back, has a nice, long, interesting, different line of sight here to hold here, but the thing is, Skyfire, no, he's in there. He's been in there every single round, so are they going to deal with him or just ignore him?
That's going to be probably the biggest question here. Tesla, his position is going to be very important here. His position, though, has been also called out, so the moment that, say, for example, that bit of soft wall above the reinforcement will be gone, Smacker should be able to pretty much just fire his firebolts right above the Tesla's position and pretty much force him out of there. So this could be a huge thing, but again,
Bomb located by attackers.
still yet to be done actually. But instead actually swings with a shotgun. He only finds that kill, but downs Jigsaw to just about 20 HP.
Yeah, get that SMG-11 out, boy. You need that little extra range, but Yeah, Jigsaw managing to escape with his life there. That could have easily been very different, but it may actually make no change at all because 30 seconds are left and Skyfire might have everyone, but they haven't pushed the defense back as much as they'd like. However, they've just lost a player. The Jigsaw's fallen down now too thanks to Shaq, and Kubrine's doing what he can from the outside, but it might be too little and far too late in this first round of overtime. Mateus, he's managed to get his way inside, looking for anything he can through the murder holes, but PC419 to kick it off in overtime, it's flawless.
This was probably one of the most dominant rounds that we've seen actually from PC419, to be able to keep holding off their position in such a, well, semi-aggressive manner from them. It's certainly an unusual thing to witness, but look, overtime match point once again is going to be seen from PC419, and, well, we just may see the ending of the first map on this very round. Console and Meeting Room is going to be the pick here, and last time we saw the defense from PC419 and Console, it was actually PC419's win, so very much could be the repetition here of that success.
Yeah, and Skyfire, when they play the site, they really like to play around the stairs quite a lot here. You know, obviously dumping a ton of ADS onto it. They've caught out PC419 a few times in how they approach that with their utility, but apart from that, like, occasionally they can get through. However, it's a strong defense on the exit stairs, so
Attackers need to locate.
I wonder if we'll see
and defuse bombs.
PC419 continue to push up there, or if you know, they just know Skyfire have a strong defense here and just try a different push. Try something like going through spiral stairs or just anywhere else.
And well, Skyfire definitely will need to be quite cautious about that point, because about any kind of early pushes, as a matter of fact. Because yeah, like you said, PC419 could come around with a few different strats here. Looking at the lineup though, it doesn't look like any changes to the operator lineup is going to be there. Neither is theoretically for Skyfire, minus the fact that Mateus is actually going to be bringing in a Mozzie instead of a Malusi. 2 M's. Nearly got tongue-tied on that one. But I reckon actually a Mozzie pick instead of a Malusi is actually going to be a much more beneficial, just with the sheer fact how strong PC419 was on their drone play.
He actually also used all of his best during the prep phase, so just trying to steal the drones away, I suppose, instead of shooting them, or leaving the windows clear too. I saw him stick one on the windows, so hoping to surprise anyone from PC419 thinking it's just a free little window to throw your drone through, and it turns out it's actually now their drone. Wow, Pun's gone down very quickly, so that's the ace off the board. That is a big deal because that is the only hard breacher they are bringing.
That is true, yeah. The only hard breacher that will be, that could have been doing all that work will no longer be present, and now PC419 at a huge issue. They will be forced to go through all of the soft reinforcements that Skyfire has set up for them. And that means going through all those prepped up choke points that will be there for the taking.
Yeah, very impossible right now, and they're running out of drones too. They've destroyed one pest, as I heard the voice cue for it, but Mateus, he's been hot on trying to deny these drones, but I mean, you look at PC419, they've still actually got quite a lot left, and they're going to need them without a hard breacher to go through these choke points like you were saying, but they're going to have to be careful with them. The way you saw Steffi using his drone, that is exactly what you're looking for. Not something like this where they get caught out, and unfortunately, that's one very valuable piece of intel that is now not going to be available. Smacker is still managing to stay alive here on site.
Smacker, talking about staying alive on site, won't be able to do that for much longer as Steffi T has that perfect angle right on his position. And now for this whole round, with a minute remaining, both teams have managed to even up their man count. Although utility-wise, it's still a favoring for defense pick that Smacker was able to achieve early on into the round. So with that said, oh, Shaq manages to find that opening, and it could be a very important one. Now, if they are able to get rid of Kubrine's position, this could be a huge one, because that is one of the crossfires completely outed and gone. Either that or player. If either two of these players can be taken out, this could be huge.
Yeah, Ryan's got a lot of reinforcements to stay quite safe, so he should be good for now, as long as he can hold down that window. And again, they've bought a ton of time. Only 20 seconds remain, so they might be a man down, but they might be able to just play for the time. Ryan getting aggressive, actually not even seen at all, and manages to pick up a freebie, and now could have saved the round. Checks the window just in case, but in the meantime, Tesla's going for the plant. They've got to stop this one. Otherwise, all that time advantage they had, it's going to mean nothing. Steffi's lost his teammate. He's got another one, but he has to pull it out. Skyfire. Oh boy, it came right down to the wire there. But look at this frag from downtown.
It came down most definitely to the last just about half a second before that plant did go down.
I thought it did go down at one point.
It nearly did go down, yeah. It was just that close, and, well, that didn't really help PC419 at all. Final round. This time, no more overtimes, no more extras. We are going to be finding the deciding side who wins out this first map in this best of 3 series. And it is going to be once again on console, office, and meeting room, but this time it is PC419 who are going to be defending rather than attacking it. So this could be it for them. This could be where they find themselves the win, or maybe Skyfire will be able to pull off that excellent push that they've done on the second round of the console office.
Oh man, you got to imagine both teams' hearts must be pounding right now, particularly the ones alive at the end of that last round, coming right down to the wire. Could have ended the series, well, the map right there and then, so they're still pumping it. Like, they're still feeling the rounds right now after that one, so you got to imagine this one is going to be the most tense round of all time. You look at the newest introduction, and Ying is now coming out for Smacker, so there are some interesting ways and pushes that I might talk about if we see Smacker approach the roof, as there's certainly some interesting, almost Reddit-worthy ways of getting through the skylight, but we'll see if he actually does play that way. But to see Ying come out here in the final round of overtime, it's got to be something special.
5 seconds left.
Yeah. Something special definitely needs to happen here.
Attacker's objective is to defuse the
Seeing
bomb.
as both teams seeming to be feeling a little bit, maybe stagnated on a fair few of these rounds, and having a few issues, especially on attack, to really make that final push work for them. Decision by Skyfire to actually bring in a Ying is definitely an interesting change, definitely a good adaptation to how PC419 are playing, to just force them and wedge them out of their positions without really even peeking them theoretically.
Alright, well, looks like no highlight plays for Smacker, at least from the get-go here. He's going to be sitting down, looking at getting into the lobby there. Actually, he's moved upstairs now, but not going to be going for the skyline push. Here we go, though. This is already presence upstairs. This is some good progress already for Skyfire, keeping everyone alive and also keeping Pun on lockdown here. He now basically can't move unless he can win a 1v1. Steffi T can kind of back him up from the windows, but yeah, he might be in a little bit of trouble here if he's not too careful. But other than that, for now, we're waiting for Skyfire to make their way upstairs and start making their first prods at the defenses.
Talking about prods, yeah, definitely. Jigsaw already establishing a few good sight lines to make sure that the Romans won't be able to really get the flank going. Possibly could lock it down, but right now there's a whole lot more pressing issues there for Skyfire to deal with. Mainly, it is going to be Pun on that Maestro, and he is sharp. He wants to find those frags. As right now, quite a fair bit of utility is being actually extinguished by Skyfire using that Zephyr launcher.
But we're getting closer and closer to the end of the round. We've got a lot of time, but here come the smokes from Vlad. What's it gonna buy? Look at the health bars. Pun's just about dead, but still somehow alive.
Pun actually got smoked by his own teammate, and that is a huge issue that could really turn around the whole game.
Well, this is a long reload. If he's pushed now, he could die, but he manages to get through the animation and stay alive. So player could make the swing now, but that smoke, man, has dropped him incredibly low. Pushes player back, but not enough to kill him. But look at that clock, it's getting down, but that is another 2 kills for the attacking squad. They've gotten rid of the Maestro too. Plant denial now going to be off the table unless Vlad can pull off one last smoke to get that one on top of the planter. Oh, Shaq, just click. No, all right, so another one down for the defense, but here it is, the magical retake. PC419 need to step it out. That's the last smoke too, so plant denial, gone. They're gonna have to actually get the frags. Vlad's gone. Only Shaq to keep his team alive. Otherwise, Skyfire will take it away from him. That plant is down. He's got the red pings. He knows where some of them are, but not enough. This is a high pressure moment. Not much health on Smacker, and not even full health on Player and Mateus. So maybe he needs to get the jump on them, but he needs to make it happen quickly. I don't think he can take a 1v2, but he's got a lot of health. But the window sightline is going to be all but impossible for him to clear. He may just be done here, and he knows it, and has to wait just the 10 seconds until his death, or until that victory screen shows up for Skyfire on map number 1.
Oh man, Skyfire able to run away with this victory here on their opponent's map pick is certainly a great achievement here for them, just for the sheer fact that right now, for map number 2, this is going to be the comfort zone for them to go into to frag out. They're feeling it, whereas PC419 are going to be looking quite distraught about that one, and missing out on their own map pick, missing out on a single round, and possibly all due to the fact that poor Pun got guessed out by Vlad early on into the round. And to think that all of this got pretty much forfeited in the final round is definitely quite an upsetting thought. But it's still not over yet. They still have the chance to really claw their way back to maybe the third map. But that is going to be the only option for PC419 if they do want to win out and if they do want to get to the grand final.
That's right. We said Skyfire would be in a stupendous position if they could take map number 1, because when we come back from the break, we go to their map pick, we go to Coastline, their signature pick, to see if they can close it out 2-0. Welcome back, everyone. One game into the semi-finals, the last semi-finals before we hit the grand finals here in LPL Pro Season 3, a Rainbow Six Siege. Skyfire 1 game up right now against PC419, but oh boy did it come close.
Yeah, it came down to the final round, and that was a very kind of almost definitive win there by Skyfire. Big thanks to, I believe that was actually Mateus, who was on the IQ, went for a fair few very huge peaks and very huge pushes, managed to pretty much solidify that position in the win for Skyfire.
Big thanks to Vlad as well for dropping the smoke bomb on his teammate too.
Let's not rub it in that much, but yeah, it was one of the also reasons why a very important position at the meeting room has been pretty much forfeited, just because poor Pun ended up just not having a whole lot of health there to really repel, or rather defend the position from the 3 different angles. So,
well, let's not rub it in, because it's all in the past, Cthulhu. We are going to game number 2. So let's jump into Coastline. Let's take a bit of a splash, because this is Skyfire's map pick, and we know that they love picking this one up. You see it pop up in probably about half their series, and no other team really likes to pick it. Sometimes, though, it even gets picked against Skyfire, which is a bit confusing, but for real though, Skyfire are the main team to pick this map.
Yeah, Skyfire were the ones who really were maining this map for quite a fair bit, so it's almost a no-brainer that they're the ones who pick it, and this is their kind of comfort ground. They were able to demolish quite a few teams here as well, with the sheer fact how aggressive they can go on this very map. Final ban about to be potentially Mira. Yeah, there we go. Mira will be picked out here, and look, so far the only difference here that we do see is actually the fact that Wamai is going to be back into the play, and another thing is that Ace is going to be banned out. So no longer Ace will be having any fun, and instead we are going to be returning back to I suppose pre-Steel Wave meta here.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Although technically there's no Tachanka anymore in the competitive map tonight, but with that, yeah, basically back to pre-Steel Wave. So yeah, here we go. Look, I mean, look at that. I mean, even the operators look very old school, apart from Iana, who's a little bit newer. But yeah, some classics coming in here. But round 1 here on Coastline, we've got to see why Skyfire are picking this one up. We know they love this map, so let's see what they've got to pull it off against PC419. Remember, PC419 going to be feeling probably a bit flaming after that loss on just 1 round difference in overtime.
And with just 1 round differences, definitely has to sting there for them to lose out their own map pick. But look, I'm more so curious here about the fact that PC419 has been very clinical about them picking Iana quite a fair few times. And having her on board is a good idea. Well, she has a pretty well-balanced loadout. She has pretty good two guns. She is a 2-speed operator. On top of that, her utility is pretty much a rechargeable drone. And she has frag grenades. What more could you ask for a flex/entry fragging operator? Well, maybe ask for extra more speed, but that's what Ash is for.
Yeah, 3 speed, 3 armor. Let's go for it. Come on, come on, Yubi. But what more else could you ask for? Probably Smacker on Vigil. This is an operator the dude loves to play, so you can see that he's you know, constantly hunting around right now. He's just looking for anyone. He hasn't been found out yet. Of course, being Vigil, he makes it pretty hard to find him out, but yeah, you can see he's definitely just going to start camping right now. But we haven't seen any gunfights just yet. We haven't seen anyone get pushed on just yet. Smacker, I feel like he's waiting for this explosive kind of finish. Steffi can run his illusion into the site here. This is where all the real intel is going to be going, but it's immediately shot out, so I don't think he even really got anything.
Yeah, I think the only thing that really was applied is the sound cue about the potential whereabouts of Smacker, but a nice shot onto Shaq, and that is minus the Ash for PC419. Definitely not going to be feeling too well, given that Jigsaw still gets to keep half of his HP. But there's also the Jackal pings, which is certainly going to be throwing a spanner in the works of the roaming game for Jigsaw.
Yeah, Jigsaw here. He's been hunted
Too
down.
many J's.
Yeah. Look, he's trying his hardest to stay alive, but Tesla has taken down Mateus. He's taken down Smacker now as well. So, you know, Hun, he might not get his hunt done, but Mateus certainly has, and this is helping out the attackers nice after a bit of an awkward start, and finally they get rid of Jigsaw too, so that bandit, super annoying, out of the way, but Kubrian could be the real problem here because he's going to be able to chuck out those smokes, buy a little bit of time. That's really all Skyfire are going to have left at this stage. Maybe some C4s.
I mean, C4s could still do quite some damage if placed right. Player's position could be tweaked a little bit here. If he could maybe go for a pre-place C4 in the Sunrise and then play, say, from the Cool Vibes stairs, he could still very much keep control of the Hookah Lounge. Whereas for Kubrian, he needs to his shots as much as he can, because otherwise he might be in for a world of pain, as demonstrated by the Zofia flag.
Yeah, and there it is. The C4's actually already been tossed out here, but here's Player somehow still alive after running around like that, but the crossfire enters and he gets taken down. Kubrian will be quick to follow. PC419 set that round up and knock it right down.
Well, so losing only a single person, PC419 certainly managed to make it work really well for themselves. First round to take on the attack of Coastline is a great way to really kick things off, and Blue Bar and Sunrise will be the next choice here for the defensive team of Skyfire. Bringing in a Pulse here is actually going to be a pretty good decision, given how powerful he can be to just deny some of the vertical play, and because we for sure know that there will be a push from PC419 onto the Hookah, and see if they can maybe acquire some vertical positioning there.
And PC419, they're going to keep running away with this Jackal pick too to keep locking down any of these roamers. I mean, when they found the bandit before, really good, managed to just lock him up entirely. I think it was Jigsaw playing that last time, but he's going to be on the Jaeger here now. But also, still bringing the smoke, still bringing the Goyo. You can tell Skyfire, they're keen to try and make sure they can slow down the aggression that's coming out from PC419. You know, any quick pushes, also a good site to do it on too, especially considering all the vertical play that might come in. You can be a little cheeky with smoke. You can find cracks in the floor, cracks in the roof to get that smoke up there, and particularly if they can retake Hookah up here, that could also be a pretty solid way, particularly if there is a breach going on. You know, they could go back up there, hold the site, deny any kind of blast. But let's see, it's been a good start by PC419, a really good round one in fact, so we'll see how the reaction comes in from Skyfire.
Looking at the setup, certainly quite a few unconventional ones, or rather barely really seen recently. I'm definitely curious how will really player play around these positions, because that is a whole lot of shields concentrated in a single area. So.
One of those goes off, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be quite a bad thing. What's also a bad thing is the fact that Mateus is already out of the equation, and that is the pulse that Skyfire were banking on quite a fair bit, and Jigsaw unfortunately was unable to really protect the FBI operator. So right now, a few definitely questionable things have been done, but Tesla continues with his rage here. He gets himself a double kill, so solid opening yet again.
Yeah, Tesla finding himself a really good round so far and already picking up those 2 kills. Kubrian now will be giving away his position a little bit, but being on site, he's got a lot to play off here. But now several different angles starting to come into play, even the rotation hole behind him. But Smacker from upstairs, he's managed to even up the numbers just a little bit more. But with that, Tesla swinging it back, and PC419 wastes no time to say, no, we're still in control of this round 100%.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Well, the plant is already starting to go down. No matter how much information is being given away to Smacker,
Attackers
it
are
won't
activating the diffuser.
look like it's going to be stopped anytime soon. The man will just try to go for a few exit frags, and seems, and well, in a 1v4, I mean, there's not much to be done, especially when you are kind of cornered at the Sunrise, rather Cool Vibe stairs, and yeah, look, the man has the only option here is just to go for the exit frags, but even that he will be denied. The lad is just too sharp here, given that probably he's still not yet forgiven by his team for the blunder.
It's alright, it's alright. You know, of course, we also saw a pretty solid round coming out there by Tesla. 2 quick frags to open it up, nothing sent back against him either. So already setting his team up for that 5v3 from the get-go. So really strong opening. PC419, you know, they may have dropped it on their own map, but now that we're here on Coastline, it doesn't look like this is Skyfire's mapping. It doesn't look like they're the team that's meant to be the favorites. PC419 is saying, look at how easy this is. It's what it feels like.
Simple math. Just click heads under this very angle and you shall acquire the grain.
I think that's simple geometry.
That's slightly
Attackers
different
need to
game,
locate
maybe.
and defuse as many
Wasn't even
bombs
thinking
as
of
they
that,
can.
but that's alright. Here we go. We're still waiting for Skyfire to really pull something out. I mean, these rounds have
Benji,
actually
ready to
been
go.
very in favor of PC419, so we're still really waiting for Skyfire to show something. It's going to be a different site, so perhaps maybe this is where it comes out here. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm feeling the PC419, particularly the players that are showing up today. You know, Tesla's having a banging game, even Steffi T as well. He's certainly showing up to play like he usually does, and it is only 2 rounds deep, so we're still ready for anything else to change up, but we need Skyfire to warm
5
up if they
seconds to
want to
insertion.
take the 2-0.
Yeah, the 2-0 is certainly still possible for Skyfire, but yeah, this very sudden 2-0 scoreline advantage by PC419 is definitely could have caught them off guard, but what is also talking about being caught off guard, Tesla being pretty much straight away spawn peek that is definitely a GN.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Skyfire. It is funny to me that Skyfire, the team that is known to go for a few of these kind of, well, tasteful banter, I suppose, like you call it, are actually not doing this here in this very matchup. They are quite respectful to each one another, so it's definitely quite unusual for me, I'd have to say that.
Just wait. Once they start winning again, maybe we'll see it, but for now, I mean, you look at what's happened in the round, PC419 evened it back up, so it's still actually a 4v4, despite Smacker's run out. Kubrian actually in a fair amount of trouble, just has to book it out of there and camp the stairs, see if he can get a frag around the corner. I believe his laser sight hit the wall for like a split second, so if anyone was looking, they might have spotted him out, but yeah, look, he's still alive is the most important thing, but it could be a bit of a troubling spot if he doesn't get out of there soon. But oh boy, we all heard that, and Vlad heard it too.
Senses are tingling.
No, those are called your ears.
Ears are overrated. Just develop a mutated sixth sense.
Now that's all Spider senses. It's just hearing real good.
Actually, you may not be wrong on that one.
No, I think he actually predicts like kind of the future with it sometimes. So I think it's a little more than hearing. It's kind of like Kind of like the Jedi thing, I think.
Yeah, could be.
Except for danger only. But anyway, that's enough Marvel lore from me. Not that I really know a whole lot anyway, but we're still sitting at a 4v4 Cthulhu, and half of PC419, they might have some sidelines inside, but we're still waiting for people to actually step foot on the site, and it might start to happen soon. Smacker very close to the window, and he does end up winning that fight out with a little bit of help from some friends. And
did I just see an impact grenade fly towards the feet of that axe as well?
I definitely saw an explosion. So
Yeah.
Yes.
That would have been mad.
Unless he ashed his own face.
Yeah, that would be a little bit awkward.
Replicating.
Yeah, we probably would have heard it too. So Steffi, he's gonna go check out, see what's going on with the 30 or so seconds he's gonna have to push onto this site. So sees that there's not a whole lot going on. Kubrian's been sitting here for 2 years and even stunned up a little bit, still going for the swings, trying to bait out a little bit of a frag. Can go up with the SMG-11. Might be in a bit of trouble, but here comes the plant by Pun while this fight is going on, and so the timer doesn't matter. They've got the plant down, and it matters now. Kubrian actually from Cool Vibes along with Player. They've gotten the 2 frags. Now, Pun might have got the plant down, but he's got to hold it off. Can he get one? He can't get any, and so with that, they can go. And actually, he gets one of them, but that was not enough. You need to get 3, and so they can defuse. Skyfire, they're back in it, but just barely.
Being able to do it is a good thing to break the general pace that PC419 was setting previously. So this is definitely a solid opening overall for the team. So look, here now for Skyfire, they are one of those teams that occasionally does rely on a good pacing, on a good momentum for themselves. And now if they are able to keep this up, if they're able to keep breaking that continuous pace that PC419 are trying to induce here, it is going to be a very good play, a very good win for Skyfire, because this will start leading them to actually getting closer to that 2-0 potential.
Yeah, I think it does have to start here, though, because we're now 3 rounds deep, and we've had a 2-round streak come out from PC419. Not massive, but yeah, if it doesn't come back to being a tie after this round, then suddenly you're looking at just having that 2-round lead, 1-round lead, but it just keeps going back and forth. I think Skyfire, they need to find that 2-round, obviously they need to find that 2-round streak at some point. I think the start of here would be where it happens, because otherwise you're just playing catch up for the rest of the game, and I think on defense is where Skyfire are probably going to shine, but maybe we see some surprises on the attack, maybe we see that, but for now, it definitely seems like we want to see it happen right now. Their comps are looking the same. You still have that smoke, still have that Goyo, and then all the other crucial pieces. The only difference really probably going to be Jigsaw on that Bandit, and even then, you know, they've been throwing that one in.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen quite a fair bit of Jigsaw and Bandit already throughout these 3 rounds, so it's not even as much of a surprise. But yeah, look, I'm curious though if Jigsaw will be able to keep his position for a little bit longer, because last time he was able to find himself a frag, but only for them to get traded out. So if he's able to maybe find himself a double kill here before even going down, this could be a very good improvement here for the man. As already Shaq gone down, I'm not too sure what is was that a Tesla actually ranting on about, but what is bad right now is that Shaq actually gone down to the hands of Mateus, and oh, a pre-fire through the window will be actually finding the headshot onto Mateus.
Wow, so they even get the revenge too, but yeah, what a long line of sight for him to hold down, and managed to pick that one up, but luckily for PC419, they can bring Shaq back up, and he's back to the party, even if he's a little bit low. There is one more member hanging around downstairs, and it was a Jigsaw, so they're definitely going to keep hunting him out. You want to be able to catch him out, because of course, can't deal with Jigsaw stabbing you in the back when you're making the push. For now though, it's just a little bit of quiet as they are hunting Jigsaw, but little do they know he's actually upstairs now.
Yeah, they're still presuming that there will be presence down in the ground floor, and this is exactly what is going to be slowing down PC419. No, not much of a drone work is also coming around. They do finally get the call out that the Bandit is up on the 2nd floor, so theoretically they could go hard really with just quickly run through the whole of the ground floor and confirm everything else. But talking about running through, this may be actually shut down pretty quickly. Vlad has just been down. Han is very low on health. Another swing will be getting rid of Shaq, and that is a huge amount of damage that has been actually dealt to PC419. although Vlad is able to withstand, and player is certainly feeling a little bit overwhelmed there in that current situation after being able to down but not finish up that kill.
Oh, big risky push there from Smacker. Doesn't lose his life, but reveals his position. Kubrian's got the smokes out. A little early to start throwing them, but close enough that it's still going to have a big impact. Can block off the stairs. What does Tesla do? He has to retreat and loses a huge amount of health. Pun and Steffi now just about to step on the inside, but they've got Jigsaw too. What's going on here?
Yeah, a whole lot of things are about to be got rid of. Quite a deficit in the health department as well there for a few of the attackers. The C4 comes around, it's Tesla gone. It's all down to Pun, Vlad, and Steffi, and the two of these players are so low in health. Now make it to Steffi as well. The diffuser has been denied as well. Vlad has gone down to the smoke, or rather not Vlad, pardon, Steffi. It's all down to Vlad, but he's on 5 HP against 3 players of Skyfire. This is not looking good here at all.
Beautiful plant denial by Skyfire, you have to say. They shut them out of every which way they could get onto the site by the smoke. They chucked the C4s right into the middle of the attackers' smoke grenades, of course. They even lose Vlad at the end of the round there too. So, yeah, solid round by Skyfire. No chance of getting a plant while those players were alive.
Absolute demolition. Big props for Skyfire. Managing to turn things around quite substantially there, and Vlad just saying, yeah.
I mean, he gets it. He knew what position he was in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, remember how that round even started for him, right? He stepped inside, immediately downed, and had to get back up. Actually, no, that was Shaq.
That was Shaq.
Yeah, no, Vlad went down and like halfway through the round and got back up. But yeah, still unfortunately dropping there. But there it is. There it is. That's what I was talking about. Skyfire evening it up 2-all. So now suddenly they're not on the back foot, not playing catch up. So here we go. This is looking good, but with only 2 rounds left of Skyfire on the defense, Cthulhu, and to be honest, I was expecting more shenanigans, more special, interesting plays, or even just peaks, more runouts. We're getting a taste of it, but only 2 more rounds. I don't know.
Bomb located by attackers.
I'm actually thinking that we're gonna see much more shenanigans once Skyfire are actually gonna go on attack, because so far it looks like it's a weird thing to say, but usually when you see Skyfire play against some of the other teams in LPL Pro, they don't particularly give a whole lot of respect to some of the pushes. They usually just go kind of
Seconds left.
balls to the wall kind of approach, not really caring about some of the pushes and just kind of trying to force almost their own pace. Here they kind of borderline kind of playing the game of just respecting the strats that PC419 are bringing in and kind of almost trying to tailor to their pace and kind of trying to dynamically reshape it in their favor. Which I know may sound like an absolute gibberish from me, but it's one of those things that it's rare to see that Skyfire still do just kind of expect certain pushes rather than just try to go and play in the face of their opponents.
Well, Shaq, he sent a little bit of respect over to Mateus to kick things off there, and this is a really important kill. That's a C4 now off the board. We saw how important those were last round against PC419 during the push, so it's a little bit of a bonus for them to pick out. Tesla is predicting some sort of shenanigans as well, as you can see him looking at the window, but yeah, look, this is still intel gathering stage, while Vlad, he's trying to make his own push through along with Pun to try and get a little bit closer. They're in a bit of an awkward spot here with these feet holes. Makes it very easy for the defenders to spot you out and clip you as you enter in. And then, of course, we've always got to deal with this sort of nonsense. Jigsaw hanging around on the other side of the map and just basically waiting for you to come and deal with him, waiting for you to try and 1v1 him. He's literally going to be that guy in the ranked queue going 1v1 me, bro, to see who's the real god. But speaking of all that, forget 1v1s, it's the plant. One goes down and that's Shaq, but Pun will complete that plant. So PC419 now going to hold it, and they've killed 3 members of the defense during all of this. So with only 1 left after Jigsaw falls, this is a very quick, aggressive, and clean round by PC419, only dropping Shaq during the plant. But that's also Vlad now dropped. And Smacker, he may have a big task ahead of him. But oh no, not again! Okay, it's not stuck. Not door stuck.
There is a very interesting angle that has been set up. Steffi, goes down as well. Pun goes down as well. It's a 1v1 situation, but 12 seconds remaining. Needs to stick that defuse, and Tesla right now is such an unfortunate position. 4 seconds remaining. The push is happening. He's just about to deny it, and well, he goes. Just so close. So close to victory. But so close was Snacker as well. Oh my goodness.
Come on, Tesla. That's where you smack him with the hammer. No, actually, there was basically no time. He actually He actually had to shoot him.
He needed that shot on him.
Oh man, oh gosh. Quite often we see the bait come out in some of those moments, but yeah, no time for that one means just had to stick it, and yeah, very close. And Vlad, I mean, he almost pulled that off, and if he had maybe 10 more seconds, could have pulled that off. So incredible play from him, but unfortunately just not close enough. So really good push there by PC419 to get the plant down so early and with minimal casualties.
I'll have to say though, if the call for the fact that Tesla was that far away and was about to actually go for a rotation, if that call would have came out slightly earlier, Snacker would have actually been able to just stick the defuse and be able to do, well, disrupt the diffuser, I guess. That would be the way to call it. Disable the diffuser. But yeah, quite unfortunate for Snacker, as the man would have probably hoping for that dub, as he was just absolutely popping off. That double kill right on sight was absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he got it. He got it so easily too, but
yeah, he looked so effortless. That's the thing, yeah.
But hey, I mean, look,
big props to Tesla as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, he had to get the job done, and you got to be reliable in those moments. But yeah, props to PC419 to just set it up to make it such a hard position for Vlad in the first place. So, they set it up just hard enough for him to not win the round and keep the lead here on their opponent's map picks. So PC419, not letting Skyfire keep that lead ever throughout this. So still looking real good. Shaq's going to go through basically the exact same way as before, but will be a little bit more onto it from where Mateus's position was from last time. This time going to be on the Legion, so we'll have the shield to work off too, so very strong position. Mateus could potentially just hold Shaq off from the service entrance entirely.
Yeah, well, he definitely has the ballistic shield for that very thing. I'm not too sure if Shaq knows about the ADS. Surely the flashbangs should do that very job, or at the very least, if there's going to be a pincer move to come around from PC419, this could be huge. Already, hologram is there. Does discover that Mateus is solo holding it, so the moment the pincer move is going to come around, this could be an issue. Guman could make a difference here, but it's Tesla to actually open up on Snacker and open up on Mateus as well. Very nice double kill. That does, though, put Skyfire at a two-man disadvantage, and with Kubrian's position now being droned out, his chances of survival are definitely put at a question here as well.
He needs to win this fight, otherwise it should just be in their bag for PC419. Does win it, so he'll be alright. But yeah, Mateus going down earlier means that now Shaq is unlocked. He can go in pretty much unrestrained downstairs and be completely safe. Now, I believe Kubrian's got someone live camming for him, so that definitely sounded a bit weirder than it should have, but he's now he's now got the positional info on where Shaq is and can maybe manage to pick up a kill here. Maybe Steffi can get his one too on the jigsaw, but it's Shaq to send it back actually. And now he's got Kubrian to deal with next, but Kubrian's ready and can send it back, but unfortunately he had to be ready as the only member left on his team. Can go for some plant denials, but is it even going to be in the right spot? The answer is no.
I don't think so, yeah. While still being pressured from multiple angles. This could be huge. Oh, Shogun actually to the face. Will be straight up disposing of Tesla, and that is a good shot. But still, Pan and Steffi so high on HP against Kubrian. This is not the players. Oh, Pan could actually take quite some damage there. But no, instead it will not be doing that. And oh, there's a peek. Oh, that is a clean kill. Kubrian could potentially go for an ace. Forces him out. It's an ace for Kubrian. He does this. He pushes it into the 3-3 scoreline. Oh my goodness.
Defenders disabled the diffuser.
Shotgun through the wall, easily highlight part of that, but big brains from the genius here, Kubrian. I mean, using the smokes offensively to flush them out too. The man knew exactly what to do in that situation to clutch it out. and magically brings his team to the 3-all. What a Chad.
What? How was that even allowed? With the SMG 11 out of all of them as well. Oh, that was so clean.
It came down to the smoke usage. It was just so smart. I mean, it worked out beautifully. Even the shooting through the wall comes down to just pure on like map knowledge and gut feeling that you know someone's over there. You know, probably called out by teammates too. So, look, just big brains along with good aim. It's good to see.
Oh man. Like these are the kinds of moments that I just like live for. These kinds of ace clutches just they give me life.
This is what we go through 2 rehosts at the top of the show for to see. This is what we're rewarded.
That was
with.
worth it. I'll say that.
I don't know, but yeah, no, that was a solid little play coming out from the man, and yeah, the important thing is it all comes down to the points at the top at the end of the day.
That play was so good. Jigsaw's hard drive just decided to have a big think about it, just contemplate its existence at this point. It's like, well, do I really need to do any work at this point if Kubra can ace clutch this?
Just like you're not allowed to actually display that on your screen, so you hold one of the belts. But yeah, he does load into it eventually. I hope, and we'll get our next round. But yeah, as I was saying, right, the score at the top. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. And the plays coming out from Kubrian to save that round got them that point. It could be 4-2 now. Instead, they get to move on to the attacking side with a respectable half here. You cannot be too upset with that.
Not at all, yeah.
10 seconds to insertion.
Especially after the fact that they nearly would have been facing 4-2 scoreline with them starting on attack would have been an absolutely horrible
Attackers are
thing
heading
for
out
them
to
to
the
happen.
bomb.
But instead, no. None of that will be happening. It's 3-3 scoreline, so we're back to an even ground for both of the teams, and there's still plenty of rounds to really go through, as I do believe that we shall be seeing another overtime to really come around.
You're really getting that feeling again, aren't we? But
Yeah.
maybe, you know, one of the teams is going to have a much better half, so on the other side, perhaps. So we'll have to give this one a few rounds to really tell if it's feeling like another overtime game. I think it still will. Predict it will, but we'll give it a few. Here we have player now on the Ash to see if he can match the results that Shaq managed to get when PC419 were on the attack, but it's Jigsaw to kick off their half with the first blood here to take off Steffi T's head. That's one presence downstairs they can now
Attackers recover
write
the
off.
bomb diffuser.
Can they get any more? Because Shaq is on the hunt too.
Yeah, well, Shaq, talking about being on a hunt, just got shut down quite fast by Mateus. Once again, the man on IQ is just an absolute beast, and about to maybe go in for a swing onto Vlad as well, but no, instead it's Jigsaw attempting the swing, actually able to run away from all that trouble, which is absolutely a phenomenal thing. The man is just able to pull a Neo, but Vlad instead does find a kill into Kubrian to get some maybe revenge, but right now, Fun is about to get pressured, Tesla is about to get pushed, Jigsaw already got down, Smacker taken quite low on HP, and this is not what you want right now as a Skyfire player after establishing such dominance early on into the round. Already losing so many players and so much HP is the last thing that you would have probably expected.
But they've managed to do enough damage of their own to make this still winnable, right? I mean, Smacker might be basically dead, but as long as he's careful upstairs, he can play the vertical game and leave the rest to Mateus and player. You look over at what PC419 have got left too. Not really much opportunity to roam. I presume Tesla's going to have to be the hero, but he just lost half of his health bar. Smacker, he can just hang out outside and mostly stay safe, or at least keep drawing Tesla's attention, who, by the way, is quite vulnerable from below if he's not too careful. Mateus is also going to have a line of sight on the inside too, and here comes the big push from these two. Although, Mateus dropping is a disaster. They needed him. Player also losing half his health bar. Quite a disaster too. Smacker, if he can get a frag here for free before being noticed, then maybe they can pull the value back, but players now as low as Smacker too. In the barbed wire, Mateus has Claymore got the kill, so they've evened up the numbers, but look at the health bars. 20 seconds. We've just got to see very quick, precise, accurate flicks here from Skyfire. Otherwise, PC419 might pull it out here.
15 seconds
The
left.
push, it's got to come out now, and they know it's coming, but Vlad is early to the party
10 seconds
to
to
get
go.
the first one. Smacker's inside, but he knows he's got to get 2 frags in 5 seconds.
5 seconds
And
left.
that is going to be a little bit of ring around the rosy, and PC419 know it.
And Vlad to add the assault to the injury will be able to also get the impact kill through the wall. There we go. Right to the back of the sledge to force him to get smacked against the wall. Yeah, like Vlad says, quite big, quite large poggies there.
Several of them.
Quite several of them, yes, indeed. Well, Penthouse is going to be... yes, thank you guys for highlighting that. Instead of Penthouse, sorry, it's going to be Kitchen. Will be the next pick for the defense of PC419, which started off on a little bit of a rough note, but gotta give them the props. They managed to make quite a firm recovery there, and being able to force Skyfire into a very uncomfortable zone is a really good thing they were able to achieve there.
Yeah, but I mean, remember how close that came right down to the wire. You know, a few good shots from someone like Smacker could have turned that round around, and yet they weren't able to get it. But like I was saying, you know, those small things could make that difference. It could be 3-4 instead, but PC419, let's give them a few more rounds on defense. They could start getting a bit of a streak going here. They've already got one in the pocket, although it was close. They managed to steal it away. So here on the kitchen side, let's see what they can get done here. Tesla's been having a bit of a monster series, Cthulhu, I've got to say. Even though he didn't manage to pick up map 1, massive presence on it.
Oh yeah, Tesla's been having a smashing game. Same actually could be said for Steffi T as well. Man is just trailing behind Tesla with the 7 frags, but yeah, look, those are the two players that we've pointed out previously. They didn't really have as much of a standout performance like their teammates in face of Vlad, Pun, Shaq, but right now they are pulling their weight substantially here.
Oh, Tesla's possibly carrying a little more than his own weight as well. I mean, he's doing a fantastic job. Vlad, someone else we've just mentioned as well. He's hanging out for a bit of a cheeky one. He definitely wants a bit of a free kill. Doesn't want to work too hard for it. But also doesn't want to wait too long for it either. So he's going to back off here. And the patience is going to be rewarded out here for Skyfire.
Yeah. See if Skyfire will be able to find that frag onto Vlad or any other operator, really. Seeing as the Penthouse and Theater has been completely abandoned, so is the VIP area, and Vlad has actually fallen all the way down to the ground floor just outside of Kitchen. So, funnily enough, not a whole lot of roam game from up on the top floor, which does allow Skyfire to take fairly good control here, but they do need to make sure that they drone out their positions, because just like that, Tesla will be able to punish Kubrian very quickly. Although Matez gets a refrag, but already the damage has been done. That is minus a whole lot of soft breaching as well as the frag grenades, but player does compensate all of that even more. There's already, I believe, an entry even right on side, as Shaq now trying to find some sort of return on the investment here and trying to maybe find some frags, but there's also a diffuse that is dropped, oddly enough, on the rooftop, so maybe Skyfire just going for the frags here.
Yeah, I mean, that may be all that they can really do unless they've got another way back upstairs, but yeah, the problem is Shaq is going to be able to play a lot for time. I mean, it's basically his job anyway, and you know, with the diffuser on the roof and you've got to find the frags, he can just play very carefully, but there it is, they've got it. Don't have to worry too much about the remainder of the time. They've still got, you know, a good handful of drones to get the final intel on the push. But importantly, this is the man they've got to find. Shaq, who's still roaming upstairs incredibly quietly. Not going to be heard just yet. Do they make the call? Do they know? Are they aware? Do they have this doorway lined up? It doesn't look like it. And Shaq, stop making us wait. He might have given a sound cue there, but maybe not quite enough here. Finally, he gets around and pops the diffuser in the head. It is immediately traded back, though, so how much value did you really get out of that one? But we'll see, because it might have bought exactly the amount of time they were looking for. Cthulhu, 30 seconds, 20 seconds.
20 seconds remaining, already finding yet another frag. That is going to be huge. Down on Pun is definitely going to be felt. Steffi's the last man standing. Tags up, but there's just a little bit, but such a little amount of ammo in the round is definitely, in the mag is definitely going to be an issue. It's 6 seconds remaining, but it's the frags that will be winning it out. Mateus, once again, going absolutely nuts there for his team, and being able to push it up in such a confident manner with a pre-fire through the smoke nonetheless.
Possibly heard the goo mine pop off in there. You could see it pop off his leg. when he died.
Possibly, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, at that point, basically a 1 round anyway. I mean, maybe some magic would come out for the time, but that said, it's back to 4-4. We're still evened up. I mean, this is setting up for an incredibly tense overtime, Cthulhu, because, I mean, if we do get there, then, yeah, Skyfire would be in overtime with, you know, series point, whereas it would be do or die for PC419, but they've been in that position before, so let's hang tight. Let's see how they get to there. On terms of that defense, yeah, dismantled pretty solidly by Skyfire.
Yeah, Skyfire were able to establish some really good foothold in the penthouse area and being able to just completely deconstruct that whole floor, being able to shut down the roam as much as possible, and being able to trade it out. The trades are definitely a very important thing that they were able to achieve very swiftly. So that's the main thing that is currently going for Skyfire. Whereas with PC419, they had a few issues trying to find those refrags, some of those trades. So looking back here, PC419 will need to nail their defense on the blue bar, because last time they've played it, it was on their own offense, whilst it was an ace clutch from Kubrian.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Attempting to, well, not attempting, solidifying a point for
5 seconds
Skyfire.
left.
So maybe a few PTSD moments are going to be coming out from that very round. But apart from that, looking at the lineups, everything's looking just about the same, really. For Tesla, once again, he's playing on smoke, so it seems like this is the operator that everyone seems to be getting quite a whole lot of clutches. And, well, a run out. Vlad getting rid of Jigsaw is going to be a very good opening, even though that is the fear out of the equation.
Yeah, so Barry is going to be a little bit more annoying to get rid of those shields. Player's going to have to do a pretty big job on them unless you want to send Kubrian to go give them a nice up-close and personal hug. But, yeah, I mean, this is where we're getting cheeky again. I thought it would happen near the end of at least Coastline, where spawn peaks are gonna start turning up a lot more. We're basically seeing them almost every round now, and teams are definitely worried about them too. So you can tell from that, Skyfire are gonna play this round a whole lot more carefully. I mean, even on top of the fact that they're a man down from the start.
Yeah, well, this is looking a little bit sketchy here for Skyfire, given the fact that they don't really have any real chances at this safe push, given that they've already lost one of their, arguably one of the most important soft breaches in the game. And now with the fact that Vlad is returning back for a hunt to assist Shag, this could be a very quick round to be ended in favor of PC419.
Yeah, you've got PC419, they definitely need to clear them out, and with Shaq they can do just that. It's trying to go for the refrag through the wall, but not a secure guarantee. What is, though, is player catching Vlad on the retreat, and now they've got another lead in the man count. PC419. They don't let that one slip away from them. In fact, they let that lead get a little bit bigger, as Kubrian will be the next one to fall, and PC419 are looking to clear this one up pretty quickly after Shaq just entirely runs out of the building itself and gets back on in. And now, I feel like this one is solidly in the hands of PC419.
Yeah. Now with such a huge man disadvantage, not a whole lot of things can be done here. With Smacker being such short on health, because that any player is going to be pretty much the man to try to spearhead the push against 4 members of PC419. Not everything will be expanded. Yeah, player tried to really force some of the the push with the drone, but couldn't really find anything.
I was wondering if he felt like the logo was the one from the last drone, because they were both next to the pest, but yeah, unfortunately just completely blocked off from getting any intel. The Mozzie paying off currently even at the end of the round here just to easily shut it out, but that's one down as Tesla falls, but it's fragged back, and yeah, this is exactly why PC419 basically won the round a minute ago, as they just hold that numbers advantage and play off the refrags to complete the round and take the lead once more.
Yeah, there we go. PC419 getting back into the lead is definitely a solid start for them. Potentially trying to go for a revenge story here for themselves, as they once again at this very position, finding themselves only 1 point ahead, but look, certainly still not over yet.
Yeah, so it's obviously very close. Still, you can tell both teams are feeling it, including their operator lineups. Nothing's really changing. Even this IQ probably just going to change to something we've already seen, but I say that. I say that, and it's Gridlock to pop out for the first time, and well,
Attackers need to
this
locate and
suggests
defuse bombs.
a whole lot of anti-roaming presence because you've got the Jackal too, but also a very strong power on the post-plant situation. If they can get the plant down, even starting the plant, the track stingers are so loud, you can even mask up the sound of the plant itself. Not to mention, you know, all the traps everywhere in the post-plant.
Yeah, track stingers are going to be an issue occasionally to deal with. And Mateus certainly will have quite some job to do with hitting the shots.
10
I'm
seconds.
not particularly sure if it is actually going to work against PC419, given that they actually have 2 sets of impact grenades and C4, so could very easily do a mass disposal of those tracks if by the time those are going to be starting to go out on the site, if they will have any of that explosive utility. But nonetheless, it's still very much easily counterable, so it's going to be more so of just how quickly can the Gridlock be shut down, because Jigsaw already knows that there is some presence in that security hallway, and Pan already taking quite some damage from what I'm assuming is from the repel.
Yeah, but he's going to change his position up slightly, but still continue to hold on the same room to see if he can continue to get any extra damage on. But there it is to confirm that there is no more ADS in there, and so they're going to be nice and safe to push into that room eventually. But, of course, they'll want to get those track stings down, I imagine, once they go for the plant here, just for the noise itself. But with all this droning up, and, well, Mateus, old mate Mozzie's going to be stealing away Gridlock's poor drone. There's got to be some sort of lore in that. Got to be some kind of joke.
We'll have to remain seated and wait to see the fly on that one.
They know.
Jigsaw successfully knows that there is some presence in that position, but so is Vlad. Very much looking forward to getting that shot. But right now, Jigsaw, very good positioning from the man, able to really keep himself safe here. But Shag, well, he will be able to take the life of Kubra, and so that is a grand opening once again. And flashbang does come around. Steffi T does get down and finished off by Jigsaw without Vlad being able to find any kind of refrag on the man. So this is once again a really solid trade-off here. A Mozzie for a Sledge, equally impactful trade-out here. And full control of Blue Bar, although there's still all of those foot-level holes opened up in the wall that could really throw the strand on the works further down the line. Shag has something to say about it, and that is another frag onto Player that will be pushing the man advantage now once again into the favor of PC419.
And Player was the main guy hunting him down too on the Jackal, so big problem there. If they want to deal with Shaq, they're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, and they might not just have the time to do it instead. So, unfortunately, they've just got a few final moments to get a bit of droning out, get it done. They've already used some track stingers to block off some hallways, so maybe Shaq won't have the freedom that Aroma would really like, but we'll see what he can pull off here, because we've got to go in. The smoke's coming out, suggest here comes the plant. Do we get the tracks at the same time? Doesn't look like it, because obviously that plant's going down, just avoiding the smoke. Mateus will manage to stick that plant, and there it goes. Well, he's still in there, but eventually, of course, he's going to go down, and Shaq will get that one for the 3rd kill of the round. But as everyone from Skyfire rushing on in to stop that disable, they all get melted and mowed on down. PC419 move to match point.
That was a very unfortunate turnout there for Skyfire, because do you know what actually stopped the Gridlock from planting? Zophia's concussive grenade. Because it has that effect that it forces you out of any animations.
But wait a second, Cthulhu.
And that also does actually spread out on your own teammates.
But wait a second, they're on the same team. What a disaster. That is a rough way to lose it, but I guess maybe it's a bit of revenge for the round that Smacker never really should have won in the first place, but, you know, almost won in the first place. But, yeah, here we go, though. The first real difference here ever since, 2 rounds into it. PC419, match point, 2 rounds ahead, looking to set themselves up to go to map number 3, and it's now all on Skyfire to stop that train in its tracks.
Attackers
Yeah,
need to
no
locate
more
and defuse
chances
as many
for
bombs
really
as
any
they can.
mistakes here from Skyfire. We'll be very
Attackers have located
curious to
bombs.
see how things will really go on from here if PC419 will take the win here on their opponent's map picks, and essentially will end up trading out their map picks for an opponent's map pick. But even then, Skyfire going on Villa could be a very huge thing, but so is for PC419. Both of these teams are very well prepared on the Villa. They can pull off some really stunning plays, so wouldn't be surprised if we all of a sudden will see
10 seconds
some
to go.
yet another close game on map 3, as
5 seconds left.
this is still very much doable for PC419, more than
Attackers are moving
even
to
the
defuse the
last
bomb.
map, as they have that 2-round buffer.
Yeah, but from what we've seen so far on Coastline, right, there's no reason Skyfire can't pick up 2 rounds in a row here. They've been capable of winning every single round, so
Diffuser.
we could see them come back. We'll have to just give it a go for a few more rounds. Or, you know, if we even get there, PC419 let us. See if they can hold on to that one. It's going to be a very top-down clear, I imagine. Yep, here we go, opening up the hatches to get on in. Drone it on out and see where everyone is hanging out here. PC419, you know, they don't have anything secret up their sleeves here. No special tricks here, just a standard round here to close it out to try. They don't want any shenanigans. They want to do it the old-fashioned way.
Maybe the old-fashioned way doesn't really work here for Skyfire, but PC419 definitely seeming to have finally gotten back into their element. Took them a little bit to actually work it out, but it seems that right now they might have a few ideas about how to really counter this. Not a whole lot of momentum from Skyfire though. All of a sudden it seems that that whole passion, that whole
Bomb has been located.
well, that fire really has been extinguished over the course of a fair few rounds, as they seem to have struggled with finding that mojo, that spark for themselves just to keep up their play. But just as I say that, Ku opens up onto Shaq, and that is a very impactful kill, because Shaq was the one that kept on spearheading a fair few of the defensive rounds and was able to actually get himself a quad kill in the previous round. So
Attackers
this
drop
is a good opening.
Yeah, Shaq was a big part of the reason PC419 won the last round so handily. They've also cleared out most of the service entrance defense. Tesla's super far back, so they may even be able to push in from there to get towards the site. They've even still got the drones to do it. Huge amount of vertical presence. Vlad might need to be there to get back in here, though. He's gone, for the most part, undetected so far. Will he be able to find anything with it, though? They also got Goyo hanging out around him, too.
Yeah, dynamic duo pulled could be huge here. Pun still able to keep his position in the reception desk could be huge, but Vlad being tracked right now is an issue, and an issue that the only way that he can really solve is just to try to be forced,
Attackers recover
or
the
rather
bomb diffuser.
change his position as much as possible. Now, so much damage has been already dealt to the Skyfire roster. Kubrian is on a minimal amount of health. Smacker took quite some damage. Mateus no doubt managed to return some fire, but Kubrian just got down once again. We are back to theoretical 3v3 if Kubrian won't be picked up. But 12 seconds remaining. Mateus once again needs
10
to
seconds remaining.
pull off some nuts plays if he wants to keep his team alive. Smacker also finds a frag.
5
Pun
seconds left.
gets the better of Smacker, and right now the diffuser, oh, needs to be stuck. It needs to be stuck the whole through, and oh, mommy. It is Jigsaw that saves the day.
Oh, and you're getting worried again, and even watching Jigsaw, you know, look at how fast he's flicking around, trying to find it. But yeah, look, with that, Skyfire again stay alive, and we could be going to overtime here. They've given us all the regulation rounds on Coastline. They just have to win one more to give us overtime too, and to give us a 2-0 if they can win it out in overtime. But yeah, what a solid little round there. I thought, honestly, that PC419 had done a really great job on the defense until Smoke went down, until they lost Tesla, because he would have been so valuable in that final push. Imagine a bunch of smokes hitting up the plant spot there. That would have been a loss for Skyfire, and they would have won just there for PC419. So, good on Skyfire to pick off Tesla before that push, because it was necessary.
Yeah, Tesla has been definitely feeling
Defenders,
it,
protect
feeling
your bombs
his
from being diffused by attackers.
power surge through him. But although
Attackers
in the
have
recent
located
few
bombs.
rounds it's been Shaq that actually has been seeing a little bit of a improvement in his performance.
Yeah, since we mentioned Tesla's stats before, he's got 1 kill. Literally 1 frag since then. So the last few rounds, not so hot.
Yeah. Well, it seems that PC419, whenever one of the players stops kind of performing, it seems that the other one starts popping off.
Yep.
Thankfully here, it's Shaq that actually comes through. So the Jaeger player of PC419 certainly has all the needed power, all the needed knowledge of the game to really perform all the needed tasks. So much it just comes down to either timing or some of the gunfights that can be taken here and whether he does get overwhelmed or not. Interestingly enough, actually, both of the members of PC419 will be attempting to potentially go in for a run out, but that gets thwarted the moment Lad spots a drone, and well, that does force them out of the position. Skyfire going in for a very safe rappel, won't be really trying to contest any of those runouts, knowing full well how powerful their adversaries can be.
Yeah, no reason to risk it here, especially on a do or die round. Remember, they still can't afford to lose here. They need to bring it to overtime. So risk-averse plays certainly going to be on the table here for Skyfire. And you can see they've already made it pretty safely towards where they want to start droning out, where they can start entering the building. Now, some big problems, of course, are going to be Pun and, of course, Steffi, who are playing the Mute Mozzie combo. Very hard to drone these guys out. And that has been what Skyfire have been doing quite a lot to get a lot of his kills. So, stopping that, big plays. A lot of shots coming out from Kubrian here. Big, long gunfight, but no one taking any damage yet.
It's interesting to see that Kubrian seems to be quite scared about taking some of these gunfights. After that ace, he hasn't really upped his kill count as much. And, well, it's instead Mateus that is actually just going absolutely huge. Getting rid of Vlad is a solid beginning, but now either Pun or Shaq needs to be taken out if they do want to keep going with their progression, because both of these players have equal amount of power to just completely deny any kind of push and completely solidify finally the win for PC419. They are quite literally 1 round away from it, and so is Skyfire. They're 1 round away from going into overtime, and Shaq does actually start pushing towards that. Potentially goes into the gunfight. Oh, just sharp with that shot. Absolutely demolishes Jigsaw. Now in a 3v4, well, make a 3v3. This could be huge. Player and Mateus pitch in onto that whole dilemma, pushing it into 2v3. Because right now they know exactly that there is a wild Shaq sitting around the supply area, but they're just not sure as to which angle to contest with. And well, a swing right now from a Jaeger player could really turn things around here.
You gotta outswing Shaq though, and that is a hard job to pull off. One more time, can Mateus be the one to do it? And it looks like the answer is no. Shaq, such a god, he could pick the win up here for PC419 and take us to map number 3.
Well, map number 3, there we go. This is the semi-final that we were expecting to also come out from Rufflecopter versus Ferox, but at that position, they couldn't really come through. This time, it is PC419 and Skyfire that are bringing us the hottest action. I mean, look at this. Shaq with 15 kills at the end. Tesla with 12. All of them just going absolutely nuts. And what more could we ask for the semi-final, really?
Well, okay, I'll give it to you this way. This is exactly like last night, except we get a game 3 as well. It's the exact same scoreline. Overtime in game 1, and then a 7-5 in game 2. But this time, it was the other way around because we get a game number 3. We get to go to Villa, and who's going to pull it out? It's been so close that it's almost impossible to tell. So you guys are going to get a bit of a break. We're going to get a bit of a break to take a breather and think about who's going to pull it out on Villa. Is it going to be Skyfire, or is it going to be PC419? Get back in here because we have got one more game to go before the grand finals. One more team to send to the grand finals of Season 3 LPL Pro Rainbow Six Siege. Is it going to be Skyfire? Is it going to be PC419? The only way to find out is to put them on Villa in map number 3 after we've gone all the way Cthulu. We've had 1 overtime, 1-7-5. This is about as close as it gets.
Yes, Villa being the final decider after a very similar scoreline like we've seen between Rufflecopter and Ferox. This is now looking like an absolute banger of a match between these two teams. Now, the ban phase for Villa, the one and only, the map that we actually couldn't really predict, but now it makes a whole lot more sense. Both teams are very proficient at that, but it has been buried under quite a fair few matches. First up is going to be Jackal. More so of a target ban now, given how annoying for PC419 it was to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, just get that out of here. Skyfire would use it all the time, and it worked out so well. You constantly get those Jackal pings.
Theoretically, PC419 did that as well, but knowing how roam-heavy can Villa be, Jackal being out is a good thing here. Now, Thatcher to be banned out, now that's... we're not going to even talk about how many times poor SAS operator gets bullied, but that does eliminate the fact that you can go easily for that Thatcher Ace combination and get an easy breach. So you need to bring in either a Kali or maybe go in for the vertical breaches, and that does require quite a fair bit of time.
Yeah, so to continue the trend of non-surprising bans, let's get Mirror out of here. And then to round things out, Cthulhu, I'm feeling like a Wamai or maybe a Valkyrie here to come into the final bans.
I'm actually thinking Maestro. Both teams were actually using Maestro quite a fair bit, and PC419 already went for a few target bans. But yeah, you were right. It is going to be a Wamai ban out of here. And actually that does make also sense because, well, again, Wamai on this map can be very powerful. He can most definitely help hold, defense to hold a few angles for much longer time. And on top of that, he has some really good weapons, so it's fairly logical to get him out. Plus, quite a few teams now have been already integrating Wamai as the core kind of composition element for the operators lineup. So taking him out is definitely going to put a little bit of a hindrance to some of the rosters.
Yeah, and there's also, you know, some positions where, you know, some sites where Wamai is pretty good at shallow roaming, where some teams are probably going to swap someone else into that sort of role. We'll check it out. First up, it's going to be Trophy Statuary. This is one of the sites where, you know, you can stick a Wamai up and say Astro with a shield, and he's going to be all good. Now they can leave, say, you know, maybe Shaq on the Jaeger there, but you probably want that guy roaming a little harder. You could potentially leave the smoke there, but then again, he likes to stick directly on the site for Trophy Statuary. So yeah, it's interesting how much harder they're going to hold something like Astro or, you know, if they're going to put much attention there at all.
Wall fortified.
Another thing is that PC419 has managed to finally make a comeback here and managed to make it work for themselves. And they're only one round away from greatness, one round away from finally winning over that rivalry that has been going for multiple seasons here in LPL Pro, and finally being able to kind of close out that saga for themselves.
But don't forget as well, Skyfire are in a similar position. They came just short of the grand final last time. They want to get back there and win it this year, but this season. But unfortunately, they've got to get through PC419. So both teams have a really big reason for wanting to win for PC419. Get revenge against Skyfire and obviously go to the grand final. For Skyfire, it's all about the grand final and getting this almost stepping stone out of the way. But it's certainly feeling like much more than that with the results so far.
Yeah, Skyfire definitely aiming for the grand final to get yet another grudge match actually going for themselves. That is going to be against Ferox. And with Ferox, I feel if it is going to be yet again the repetition of Season 2 grand final, I certainly think that Skyfire are going to be bringing in all the dirty moves, all of the banter and all of the mental warfare as well.
Well, they did last time. Oh, that's some pings upstairs. They may be able to get some vertical kills here. Although, with that, some of the defense is going to be bailing out from those positions. Tesla playing with a little bit of fire himself, stepping on some of those open floors. You've also got Player who's hanging out below. He can scan out for any ADS, get rid of them before moving in. I don't think there's really much else. Maybe you can find a Kaid or some of the Legion mines, but they're usually going to be spread out all over the place. So no Kaids cleared though. So that wall is going to stay electrified and unbreachable.
Unbreachable definitely going to be the right way. A bit of a shake even from our observer. It seems that Pun is able to actually fend off the pesky IQ from there, at least for the time being. Player is still, yeah, very, very keen on getting rid of that Kai charge, but it seems that for the time being will be kept off that position.
He knows exactly where it is, but he needs to get quite a specific angle to actually break it down. And so with that, with those few shots, it looks like they can get a little bit of a hole above, but I mean, nothing from there, but it's really going to be the value from Shaq that's starting to pay off. Jigsaw, Player, both taken out. So if you didn't get that Kaid before, you run out of time.
Time is certainly going to be of the essence here to be dealt with, because right now Steffi T just keeps on adding up the bodies to the body count here for PC419. Ku is also able to find at least some retaliation here onto Vlad, but still 4 more members to be fragged out, and right now being slowed down is not the best thing to happen. Last man standing against the 4-man squad of PC419 is a scary thing, and well, Shaq
well,
taking a little bit of a damage from Steffi T, maybe inhaling some of that just to stress his nervous system a little bit more, just to give him an advantage. Oh, seeing that was just the most comical thing possible.
I've seen people look less wasted on a Sunday morning at 19 years old. He just got crushed on that one, and I think that's the only position you can possibly take. First round to PC419. Feeling pretty good here on that one. I mean, solidly swung back in their favor when Shaq managed to go around for that flank, stop the pesky, mainly the IQ trying to clear out the breaches. I think there was just a lot of attention focused on that for Skyfire, and once they couldn't do that, it all fell apart.
Yeah, Skyfire looking a little bit crushed there on their momentum. Certainly need to start coming out with something better there for themselves. Dining room is going to be the next point of pressure, and look,
Defenders,
right now
protect your bombs from being
this
defused
is
by
looking
attackers.
a little bit spooky here for Skyfire. The very beginning of this map is certainly not really working out quite well for them. Last time when PC419 were able to get themselves a 2-round streak, they were able to keep up that pressure pretty much throughout the whole coastline. So if PC419 establish an early dominance here points-wise, this could be a huge advantage.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been, 1 round, so we're still waiting to see if Skyfire can pull back from it, obviously. A lot of that round came down to, like I said, Shaq getting the massive flank.
5 seconds left before
Skyfire
insertion.
don't let something like that happen again, then perhaps they'll be able to get onto it. But yeah, it did feel like just a few things going slightly wrong mechanically there. Not clearing out the Electro Claw a lot quicker, even at all. And then obviously being caught out just even from the time spent in doing that. So
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
yeah, look, Skyfire may just have to have maybe a backup plan or something when the plan fails, because that one certainly didn't work out once it failed.
Yeah. At the moment, it's looking like a little bit of a calm before the storm, really. PC419 has got all of their positions sorted out, but it seems that right now it's more so just the info gathering of SKF that is actually coming out much better and a much larger swing, but not for long, as they tried to prod the defense of PC419 a little bit, but couldn't really find any damage nor the frag. So that said, right now Skyfire are going to instead opt into taking control of the top floor and maybe try to go for a vertical game, which is not a bad idea, but there is some presence in the Astra, which could be an issue later on.
Well, and there it is, Kubrain to get out of that one, and unfortunately all aced up and not ready to go. It's completely locked up. That breach not going to be an option for Skyfire, and so now they're going to have to find another way around the game. This is what I'm talking about. They need another plan to get inside. They've got plenty of drones around, and still, a handful in their pockets. Mateus and players still holding on to 2, so they still have plenty of opportunities to drone out pretty hard. Going to be a little annoying with the mute, but a lot of that is spent on wall denial. Although Tesla knows another way to set yourselves up for a bit of a win, and that's to get a frag and not let anyone frag you back.
Yeah, well, already some damage has been already taken from Skyfire, and be losing out on an air jab as well as Smacker is not the best case scenario here once again. For PC419 though, only Pun has really taken some punishment, and a C4 to boot as well onto Mateus is a great thing, but that is a very clean peek by Jigsaw to get rid of Tesla. So at the very least, it's a trade-off for this very instance, but still a one-man disadvantage is certainly an issue that needs to be remedied as quickly as possible. Jigsaw may not be able to do that very thing just yet, but at the very least there are breaches that are coming out, and Jigsaw ensures that the ADS charges will be drained here. Although another smoke grenade that does come around, and Shaq gets rid of player which does leave all down to Jigsaw and Kubrian to clutch it out. Although pushing it into 2v3 now makes it a whole lot more workable.
20 seconds though, that is not a lot of time at all. And Steffi T, he's bought a lot, doesn't have any smokes left, but can still get the frags like the best of them. And that can help him secure the round for his team. PC419 round number 2 is also theirs.
The grain has been acquired there amongst all that chaos, but look, gotta give it to Steffi. He was the one who kept on holding on that position for quite a while. He was the one that kept on delaying that push. Without those smoke grenades, Jigsaw and Kubrian would have made a very easy entry right onto site and would have been able to swarm it pretty quickly. So big thanks to him. As well as that, the rest of the squad was able to really play around that fact, and with Vlad pushing behind as well, certainly made things a whole lot easier. So with a 2-0 scoreline, now it's time for an AVG, the site that is usually picked as the main one, but this is a big brain decision here from PC419. Now that they've solidified their secondary site, their tertiary site, and they managed to win out on those two, AVG now should be theoretically the site where they win out as well.
Shouldn't take too many rounds for them to pick up a round on this site, if they're not just going to do it right on here, like you're saying. So, yeah, I mean, big brain, but also getting the heads of their opponents too, because Skyfire have got to face this one down knowing AVG is on the table, quite literally, and so they know they're very likely going to be facing the site, so they'll at least be able to plan for it. They've already got drones looking on it, but, you know, it's still going to be an uphill battle for sure. It's still going to be a little bit rough, and after a start like this so far, PC419, they're on fire, and Skyfire are going to put them out.
5 seconds to insertion.
Exactly.
Should have been Skywater.
Attackers' objective is to locate a
Well,
bomb.
let's see if PC419 will be able to offer some hydration for Skyfire here. Or maybe we shall be finally seeing Skyfire make a return here with the plays, because so far neither of the two rounds has really been too convincing for Skyfire. The fact that they lost out the coastline, which was their map pick, has certainly made quite an impact on their confidence, it seems. And the fact that they keep on, well, like I said, respecting some of the plays that PC419 come out, whereas PC419 kind of just coming out full swing, seems to be hurting SPF quite substantially. And yet again, Vlad punishes Smacker quite substantially and
A bomb has been
able to
located.
run away with full HP as well.
Yeah, nothing sent back to him. I think he had a little bit of help, but a run out. That was a brave one for sure, Shaq, but very much punished. And with that, we actually even things back up. I mean, he had the freedom to do it because they were a man up, but it did not go to plan at all.
Yeah, a bit maybe too early for these kinds of runouts, but look, at the very least for Skyfire, that means that, like you said, it is going to be an even round back again. They managed to trade out their lost comrade, that is Zafia, and now it's down to really getting the breach at the vault on the 90-degree hallway, and that is a very impactful
located by attackers.
position now taking control of, because there's not a whole lot of room. There is one silhouette that I can spot downstairs, but that is an attacker, so player is just going to start disposing of all the electronic utility from below, and that is going to be eating away at all of the setups that PC419 has already set themselves up for.
Yeah, and Kubrian's just basically waiting for the go-ahead to get that breach going. You know he wants to get it started straight away. I believe the Electro Claw, even with the IQ, is going to be pretty hard to find. A clean one there by player to get Tesla, so 2 defenders now down. They take the man lead for the attackers and continue to make it grow. This is looking like it should be solid. Probably not even going to need the breach here if they keep this up. Steffi had a monster round last time with the smokes. Can he keep it up? Cuts off one entry, but unfortunately for him, this house has got a few more than one doorway. So he can cut off the vault, can even rotate back onto the B side if he needs to, and even gets a frag on the way. Finishes it off with the shotgun. Steffi might be able to save it, but he is way too pinned down, so Pun now coming up to try and clean up the job. 1v3. Looks up to the air jab at the wrong moment and is punished for it. Skyfire get around on the board.
There we go. Finally, Skyfire are able to recuperate themselves, get themselves up and running on that momentum, and will be able to break the streak. Once again, this is a similar outcome to what we've seen in the first half of Coastline as well. So possibly history could repeat itself here. But we have to wait for a fair few more rounds before we shall be seeing the conclusion of that. AVG, though, will be once again picked by PC419, seeing as they have been quite comfortable holding their position till the last moment. So if this time they will be able to nail some of their initial gunfights, I reckon they could most definitely take a win there.
Solid little round there for Skyfire previously, but like we said, it's been tough so far. Those first 2 rounds did not look too hot at all for the attackers. So PC419 again, they want to keep that lead up. Remember last time on Coastline, they did let that 2-2 slip. So here would be the point to stop it. Just continue that lead. If you're going to go back and forth and do it with a 2-round advantage, I'm sure it's exactly what they were going to be looking for here. But like you said, it's a retry. They get to keep retrying the strong site on the AVG. And they can continue to look for it. To see if they can just get one more here on this half.
One more is all they really need.
10 seconds
Really,
to insertion.
to at the very least establish themselves a comfort ground in the first half.
5 seconds left before
Because right now
insertion.
it's still at a very uncertain point. If Skyfire do take the win here, it does force PC419 out of AVG without really any kind of success. And that is the last thing that they really want out of all of this. They would most definitely want to keep this to as much of a comfortable set as possible. This setup is certainly a good one, but the moment the control over the study room will be lost, it is going to be pretty much all done and dusted. But it seems like it's not even going to be in the plans of the Skyfire roster.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what we saw last time as well, is they pushed from the other direction. So PC419 are just reading into that to see if they can take advantage of it. Can maybe rotate it around if they really want to, but to see if they've got enough time to go for it.
Attackers have located
Now,
a bomb.
Smack is going to be jumping onto the Zoff this time to see what he can grab. They've also got a drone out pretty much the, most of the building to, one, make it safe for player to go downstairs, clear out any utility, see if he can catch those electro claws. Remember, they've been a big focus before. If we can pick them up this time, it could be an even easier round for Skyfire to pick up here.
Reload!
Bit of a calm before the storm really here. Smacker wanting to find some sort of success there with his breaching, but right now only just pokes around to find maybe an ADS.
Yeah, but now he knows there's no ADS in there, so, if they've got any frags, then maybe they could find something here, but
He has the impact charges, so he could theoretically do it himself as well. But right now more so just concerned about being pushed or maybe being peeked from around the corner. Instead, no, just trying to blind the defenders to make sure that they won't be able to impact rig, but it seems that actually it worked out quite well. Yeah, there we go. Vlad was able to do it very successfully.
still sitting by. Another impact in hand, and we've already wasted 2 minutes for the attackers. He's completely blind, but can he get it done without any eyes? Let's see, as the Selma charges are going down, Vlad, is he going to go for the deny? It doesn't look like it just yet, but he has got his eyes on the site. And even trying to get a little bit of damage with no return too. Not a lot of time, and the attackers don't have a solid way in.
Not at all, yeah. Vlad being able to deny it as well as that with the help of, I believe that was the Melusi that just disconnected as well, of Tesla. We're able to deny all the breach, so the only hard breach that was there by Cthulu has been completely thrown off. So this is a good setup for PC419 to potentially win it out, but as I say that, it's Skyfire that is actually coming out successfully here. It's a 4v1 situation all of a sudden. 15 seconds remaining. Steffi needs to prevent that plan to go down, but no, won't be able to do so. And it's Skyfire once again coming around and just winning this all out.
And yet, still, we are going to go to a rehost, get our fifth player back on the board for the attackers. Going to be real important. You want the whole squad, and you know what? We'll take a few minutes. We've been here for a while, Cthulhu. We can take a few more to get the full rosters back in, but my word, it's a 2-all again. It's still going to be really close here on Villa. Of course it is. We're going to map number 3, but I mean, Skyfire, they've turned it back around. They've started to activate once more here on Villa. So I don't think this is anything like PC419 taking momentum and rolling with it. I think we're just getting, again, like a map like map 1, a map like map 2, just another slobber knocker that goes the distance. These teams are just on fire.
Yeah, both of these teams have finally seeming to be activated. They all ready to frag out, and it seems that all three of those maps has been a pretty good kind of comfort ground for them, and it's only kind of those small mistakes here and there that are kind of resulting in either a map lost or a map win. So, yeah, this is definitely a very interesting situation, given that all three of those maps seem to have been practiced by both teams on a frequent basis. It is more so of a question of who can nail their shots better and much more consistently. First two rounds, it certainly looked like PC419s were the one to really come out victorious. Here on the last two rounds that we just saw, Skyfire just absolutely turning up, being able to play off all of the unfortunate circumstances that PC419 will put through, namely Tesla's dropout before he even died. So if Tesla was even alive in that round, I reckon things could have been a whole lot different, but yeah, we yet to see that really happen.
Yeah, I mean, it really did come down to the final moments. We thought maybe with the smokes they were going to be able to hold off on the defense, even with a few of the breaches down. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was just a really quick push. You saw Skyfire pick off like 3 people within the space of a second, and just a bunch of 1v1s or just a really good few gunfights. And so, yeah, on point at the very end, and they set themselves up to a really good point too. They got all the, all the breaches done before their guy just got out of there, before we get him back in. But yeah, look, they got everything up, they set it up, and then they had a really good execution at the end, and that's really all you can ask for a clean round.
Yeah, I gotta say, big props to Skyfire for being able to rotate around their reinforcements, because at the very beginning of their push, we didn't really see a whole lot of presence in study room. Out in the front entrance, at the main entrance rather, of Villa. So the moment they kind of started to just wrap around essentially the whole side, the moment they taken control of the study room, this is where the whole defense of PC419 started falling apart. And that is the very thing that they were kind of being scared about, I suppose. The setup right at the main stairs didn't really protect, or didn't really offer any protection really to anyone that would be holding around that area against somebody that decides to push the study room. And kind of from there on, it borderline pretty much snowballed.
Yeah, it got pretty out of control. But I mean, all things considered, right, both teams have never really been at a point, like throughout the whole series, where they're just getting crushed, right? The other team's never been like more than 2 rounds ahead of them on a single map. So, everything has been winnable. Everything has been, within reach. So it's really good to see, not just from like a viewer point of view where like, oh yeah, cool, we get a really close game, which is great, by the way. Like, I'm loving it. But you also get to see this real magical little moment where you never feel like, oh, well, one team's just out, and you even start feeling bad for them. Both teams, you never have to feel bad because it is within reach. So unless they lose it like straight off in overtime, which we have actually seen, you can still feel like both teams are feeling pretty solid. Their performances are looking good. Yes, there are small mistakes, but there are always small mistakes. The fact is, tonight they're being punished really hard.
Yeah. Both of the teams, as a matter of fact, been punished really hard for all their mistakes. PC419 got punished at the final round of Consulate. Skyfire were pretty much punished throughout most of the rounds for some of the misplays, some of the unfortunate bad timings. And even here, on a fair few occasions, both of the teams were really punished for some of the misdrawn peaks, some of the kind of mistimed positions, and sometimes just being unable to really find that the gunfight that they really wanted and to be swarmed at the end by the defenders. So certainly it's a back and forth battle here. It certainly looks like both teams are at an equal skill level, which definitely provides us with some very good content here. And usually I feel like we got pretty accustomed to the fact that one team is just so much more dominant than the other that we kind of initially just stopped kind of even seeing the fact that it was just the micro mistakes that both of the teams were making that were actually making the huge impact on the general scoreline. So this is the juiciest probably match that we've gotten to see for quite a while now, and it's lovely to see that.
It's one of those ones as well where you can actually look at the numbers and be like, yeah, okay, that's actually what happened. There's no story where someone's low fragging, but like say they're being real valuable by getting every impact trick or something like that. Those players are also getting rewarded with frags here. from those plays, right? And it's really good to see them drop off for things like that. And that's why I love this close semifinals. And the best part is, I think the grand finals are going to look like this as well, because I mean, you have, even though Rufflecopter finished first, right? Ferox is still, after the round robin, tied with everyone playing tonight as well. So no matter who we send there, they had a similar performance to Ferox throughout the round robins. And that is also going to be an excellent grand final. We're just a few moments away from getting back into the game. Don't worry, guys. We haven't forgotten about it. We're not just reminiscing about, future reminiscing, if that's a thing, about the grand final next week. But we're just waiting for the next player to join, presumably the one that DC'd, and we'll be jumping right back into it. Hopefully, just checking updates to see if any calls have been made. But for now, we're just waiting for that remake. But yeah, I mean, look, I think we predicted this, but it feels good to see how close it's been, even right up to this very moment. Oh yeah,
it's definitely a feels good moment. We've seen some really good, very close rounds. Even the rounds that were kind of sort of predictable to be one of the other teams to be won. Those are still getting pretty close on a fair few occasions. I'm still kind of still processing that ace that Kubrian pulled off, because that was absolutely a nuts.
That's possibly the biggest ace we've seen, I think, throughout the whole season.
Yeah, an ace. I believe that's actually the first ace clutch that we actually saw.
Yeah, we've seen a 1v3 for sure. And
we've seen almost, a 1v4.
The 1v4 and almost a 1v5.
Yeah.
But not quite the full 1v5. So there we go. The best one we've seen all season. So
now, another thing that I was about to talk was how would Ferox really fare in the grand finals. But we'll leave that discussion to a later time, because we are finally back onto Villa. Now, to get back to discussion here, Skyfire versus PC419 just managed to draw back into a 2 apiece here between the two teams after 4 rounds of just essentially playing a tug of war and playing back and forth. 2 rounds to PC419, then 2 rounds in a row to Skyfire. Now going back to a trophy room though. Now that was the side that was pretty convincingly defended by PC419, but the choice of the cav that I just saw is surely that's a bait. Yeah,
well, it has to be.
It has to be a bait, because also, Echo got 6 picked off because man is still banned, I believe, and Vigil to be picked instead. Now, Cav onto Steffi, I'm not yet sold on that one, mate.
Cav and Vigil, though, like that's both of them setting up here. You've got a lot of 3-speed operators here, with the Mozzie on top of it, right?
See, the thing is, though, I'm sorry to cut you off on that one.
Go ahead.
Vigil is a very still valuable operator. No matter if his utility fails him, he can still frag out. With Cav, she's very much, her success and rather her impact on the round very much depends on whether she's able to get herself an interrogation or not, at least in my eyes. And so that does definitely put some pressure on Steffi for him to get it down, to get that roam nailed as perfectly as it can possibly be, and then work around from there, because otherwise this could be pretty much shut down pretty quickly, and PC419 could be playing in a 4v5 in a matter of just a few short seconds.
Yeah, this is certainly a very do or die round for PC419. It's either going to go incredibly well or terribly. So let's see how it does go out. All eyes, hopefully not Skyfire's eyes, are going to be on Steffi T here. He's going to have to try and stay undetected, which is going to be hard with drones in play, but maybe he's going to have some pests to help him out. But if he gets detected, suddenly that makes his job immensely harder unless he can escape, and they have no idea where he goes.
Right now, it doesn't look like it's an all-out manhunt. As a matter of fact, it's Vlad who's actually very tempted to go in for a swing. He does have the gun to do that, but it's very much depending on his reaction speed, his and Smacker's. Both of them very much aware that there might be a peek there at any time and shape, but it feels like almost like a Western styled standoff there. Oh, the worst timing possible though. Smacker taking out Vlad the moment he hears the pin to be pulled. Meanwhile, Shag still lurking downstairs. Could maybe get a late flying, but I'm more so curious about where is Mr. Steffi T.
Man, I still want to give props to Smacker on that one, but hang on, because Steffi T, here he is, and he's come upstairs to just rotate back to a few of his teammates, but yes, Smacker on point for that. Getting the frag, literally at the drop of a pin, but The important thing is he does it without any kind of damage going back, right? They keep the man advantage. They can push on a little further. Vlad's now out of the way. Kind of annoying to lose the Legion, who could have been building up goo mines towards the end of the round. He got eliminated so early that he probably only got out like an extra 1 after the prep phase. So
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
here we go. I mean, Skyfire
Attackers have
already
recovered
setting
their
themselves
diffuser.
up for a solid little lead, but the one little thorn on their side, in fact, actually 2, because Steffi's still around. Shaq, he's hanging around downstairs. And where is Steffi? Is he still on the site? Yeah,
Looks like it, yeah.
Almost.
He's sitting around the bathroom area, which isn't a bad decision, although it doesn't really help just yet the team to defend the position. More so right now, it's up to Jigsaw to take the gunfight, because right now he's about to be pressured from 2 different positions. Blair does take quite some damage from that peek onto the Mozzie, but can there be found another frag yet? Tesla does manage to pick up a double kill, but he's currently being pinged by those drones, and right now this is not the best case scenario. But he should keep the position holding, but gets shut down. There's that late flank though that we were talking about.
Yeah, but eventually they do get the plant down, but was it too little and too late? Kubrian now has to solo defend it. Has a neat little line of sight, but gets 1 kill. They now know where he is, and with that diffuser going down, I don't think he can stop it here. Pun's gonna push forward. Here he actually goes for a massive little rotate, but he can only pick up 1. And everyone else can rotate back, disable this diffuser, and win the round there. Close, but no cigar.
Yeah, PC419 inching away from potentially losing out that round, but still will keep their advantage points-wise. And will be continuing to force Skyfire to play kind of on the back foot. But that was a really close potential win by Kubrian. Only 1 frag away, but just overexposed himself a little bit too much to some of the other angles, and well, pretty much all that could have been said about that play. Did decide a little bit for an overambitious swing around, but yeah, also didn't really work out there for him, as he just decided to hurry up to try to prevent the diffuser for the right reasons, as well, Mozzie was just trying to just stick it.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, is that he had to go in for it, but let's not forget as well that that plant could have gone down about 20 seconds earlier when there was a similar attempt, but they got interrupted by a push, so it was delayed, and I think that was the big changing factor that let them come back into it, gave Shaq some time to come back into it and pull off all that value. So, speaking of Shaq, he's swapping over onto the Oryx here, so always a good time when Oryx comes out. We've also got a fun operator like all sitting around, so we could have a few shenanigans here, Cthulu here. I mean, Shaq, I think, is going to be the funnest one to watch if he can do anything real crazy, but that's the craziest thing you can do. Take a bath.
So, I mean, it could be a pretty interesting play if he won't be thrown out.
Who expects the Oryx in the bathtub?
Yeah, that is a good point. Plus, his dashes are an excellent way to up the mobility of the operator, given that he is a 2-speed operator, so won't be able to be as speedy as, say, somebody like Bandit or maybe even Cav. So, few ways around it. He has the ability to equip the 1.5 scope on his T5 SMG, but instead opted into the holo sight, and instead will be playing downstairs.
Yeah, surprisingly not in the bathtub. Didn't expect him to be sitting there for the whole round, but yeah, moving down here, he might get a decent line of sight down the hallway if anyone does manage to push down there. They've also got a whole lot of roaming intel going out on the pulse, so if Vlad finds anyone. But for now, it's just going to be Skyfire getting in. They will have to get past old mate Shaq, moving around downstairs, but as this is an upstairs push, all they're going to have to watch out for is the stairs.
Yeah. The hatches have not been popped open yet. Just. So, Smacker, this is going to be a very good position, really. Not really a whole lot of angles to contest, so you should be able to isolate some of those gunfights into 1v1s, but that is very much dependent on how willing PC419 are to take those gunfights, because Bun is sitting pretty close, and a single pump of a shotgun should pretty much get rid of the SAS operator. Whereas there is a presence by Steffi, but he's completely unaware that he's about to get pushed here by the sledge, and the drone is there. Steffi takes some damage, already falls back. should be covered by Tesla. Yes, Tesla is there to provide covering fire, and right now he's just waiting for the right time to drop down, and both of them do default back to the ground floor. Steffi gets taken out though, gets cut off on the rotation by player, and that is a good position to keep a hold of.
Oh man, you would have loved to keep the smoke around this part of the round. Getting into the final minute here, you could buy about half the round's time to force away the attackers, but instead, Steffi going down. It's a real valuable frag for Skyfire. They might still have all the intel on above and may even be able to pick up a C4. Would certainly be their ticket back in, but missing one of them. Can we get another one?
Pretty sure there's still another C4 that can be thrown out by either Tesla or Vlad, but instead it's Tesla that actually decides to use the MP5 to get rid of players. That is the IQ gone. No more of the tracking of the pulse, and that is going to be a huge thing. But now it comes down to the raw gunfight power. For 35 seconds, the frags need to be absolutely clean from PC419 if they want to continue asserting dominance here with the scoreline. Otherwise, PC419 will be punished very quickly. Mateus opens up onto Vlad. That is a huge one. Gets a double onto Tesla, completely unaware that there is a push. And now it's all down to Pun and Shaq to make the play here. Plant about to start going down, but instead getting distracted by another push, and it's Smacker to punish him. All down to the Oryx player, but he is completely unaware of any presence and will be shot in the back. Skyfire to yet again even out the scoreline.
Oh man, and yeah, just like cutting off the rotations and cutting off the defenders on the movements, and with that, a real solid one to set up the plant. I mean, it was basically done and dusted there, so easy one to even up the score line, and with that it's just going to be a completely even half as we swap the sides. Stick PC419 now onto the attack here in map number 3. We're going to kick it off on the trophy and statuary. And so now we really get to see, is this going to continue going back and forth after swapping sides? Given what we've seen in you know, Coastline, given what we've seen on Consulate, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, it could be. Well, throughout all 3 of the maps so far, both of these teams have been trading blows back and forth, so it's not surprising to see us at yet another draw. It's probably the highest amount of drawed out situations that we've seen in a single matchup, so this is great to see that. It's definitely just side to side, getting so close to just running away with each and every round.
Yeah, that's the other great thing, is that each individual round can actually still be won at most stages by the teams, right? Like, there's no point where, say, someone gets a spawn peak, or even more than that, and you're like, okay, this team's done, right? You can still feel like, okay, they do this, they can still make it work, you know, there's still some tickets back in. You never count out Skyfire, you never count out PC419, so see how they do now that we've swapped sides here. Skyfire are definitely a little bit more on the unpredictable side when they're stuck onto the defense, right? You never know, are they spawn picking, are they doing runouts, right? They're definitely the team that does it the most in the league, so we'll see if they do it now. It's got to be on the minds for PC419.
Yeah, PC are going to be very cautious about how they want to approach this, how do they want to lay it out, because, like you said, Skyfire are known to be the unpredictable ones to sow all the fear into their opponent's hearts whenever they see even a single window open up, so won't be too surprised if all of a sudden we shall be seeing a very powerful move from them. Though PC419 do already make an entry, at the very least partially with the drones, to figure out that, well, ABG is completely unoccupied, but there is a ballistic shield there set up for any outside the site hold, and it is going to be Tesla to attempt to go in for the swing, but very dangerous decision to keep on swinging whilst having the goo mine, as it still keeps on ticking the damage, but will be able to very safely pull it out. So, at the very least, there's that. Mateus has been forced out of his position behind the Goyer shield just outside of statuary, so that does leave down to Smacker to get the frags, lay that smack down on the any roam clearers, and if he can make it successful, this could be huge.
Yeah, and he's going to have to get that value, because we've downed half the round and no one has taken any damage yet, but we still keep getting progress positionally for PC419. A few really good little murder holes here for Kubrian. Actually provides a good amount of line of sight there, so especially with his gun, he's going to be able to pick up a fair amount of damage if they walk into his lines of sight. Vlad and his drone is going to be able to find out exactly where he's going to need to fire to get rid of this Vulcan. And these goo mines, they're not picking up the frags just yet. Just annoying PC419 if there's any.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
Talking about annoying PC419, Smacker does get rid of Tesla yet again. The man that was just absolutely on fire in the previous map seemed to have had his fire extinguished there. C4 to fly out will not be connecting with anyone and instead just absolutely juked out. Steffi will be finding that shot into play, although does take quite a substantial amount of damage, just about 98 damage. But still able to frag out, so that's another gun to be left on board, as well as that some frag grenades as well to roll with that. So not all is lost yet. It is a 4v4, but health advantage is most certainly in favor of PC419. Or rather, pardon, Skyfire.
They'll definitely need to use Steffi T, but with him going down, that could be out of the table, and now they've got to go for the plant with 10 seconds left. Pun swings in, but Smacker was ready for him. Smacker was ready for everyone as he stops the plant and maybe saves the round. Shaq, in some kind of dream world, he saves the round too, but it's actually Smacker, the true hero.
Oh man, yeah, Smacker at the end was able to pretty much put the nail in the coffin of any hopes for PC419 to win out that round. And look, already point advantage. Skyfire are the ones to now lead the charge and certainly looking to maybe finalize themselves into the grand finals here. Only 2 rounds away from a match point and 3 rounds from the win at the map. Whereas
here it comes.
PC419, it's going to be quite an issue. Yeah, here it comes as well. Yeah, Clash Alibi pick as well as that. We shall be seeing a 6-pick back onto the Pulse, which is fairly understandable. Some more info gathering is required, especially whenever you are attempting to defend the dining room and kitchen. And I am quite curious, though, as to why there's only a single set of C4s.
Attackers need to
The only
locate
C4
and
that is
defuse
going
as
to be
many
for
bombs as
Skyfire
they can.
is on player, whereas the rest are going to be running around with some impact grenades and a ballistic shield, which does lead me to think that Pulse will be more so used for just kind of passive info gathering and without really a whole lot of explosive action.
It looks like they're also going to go pretty hard on a lot of the impact tricks, trying to lock up a lot of the hatches too. But you're right, when you've got a Pulse, you normally love to play, you know, with other players on C4 so that they can work off your heartbeat scanner too. So you can just throw them out without having to put it away. You can constantly ping it for you.
10
But
seconds
yeah,
to go.
impacts are going to be the deal instead. And you know, they they can do a little bit of damage through the floor. It's not worthless, but yeah, impact tricks probably going to be the name of the game here for Skyfire. But the question is, how many can they actually get? Oh boy.
Defender
Already a
has been
cheeky
discovered.
run out. That's the thing that we were talking about before. Skyfire back at it again, seeming to have finally stopped really caring about an honorable game, instead just wanting to get that win. And that is fine. They've already showed us some phenomenal gameplay before, and if this means that they need to, that they will be getting themselves a dub, I don't mind at all. Same goes for PC419. They already stopped caring about the honorable game for quite a fair few rounds, so wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be busting out some of the rather cheekiest strats.
Hey, if it's part of Skyfire's toolkit and you can't deal with it, then they're going to be the better team. So see if they can do it. They didn't get any value from the run out this time, maybe a bit of intel, but other than that, no frags for now. But this is a strong vertical presence now coming out for PC419. They can even go ahead and open up the hatches to get in downstairs. Strong presence, but already Steffi's taken a bit of damage from presumably some shots and maybe even an impact, because I heard an explosion. So maybe this could be their plan for Cthulu. C4s be damned, just use the impacts.
I mean, impacts could still deal quite a hefty amount of damage. The player doesn't care about that. He just gets a UMP kill onto Vlad nonetheless, and that is directly his rival really there. IQ against the Pulse, well, both of them counter out each one another, but looking at right now at Smacker, he could be up to some fishy stuff. Same as Mateus, he's actually on a solo roam here and just waiting for the right moment to go in for the push. He hasn't been drawn out at all. As a matter of fact, there are no drones actually watching outside Trophy Statuary, so this could be a whole lot of free real estate for the Vigil to take control of.
But yeah, he could easily sneak up on Tesla here, who himself has a really strong position. You might want to sneak up on him soon before he keeps getting that value, but it's actually Kubrian to pick up that one. 2 more attackers now down. And it could get worse as Mateus, he still hasn't pounced just yet.
This is now the calm. The wait before all that chaos erupts yet again. Pun once again breaks the silence, same as Smacker, being able to trade out Pun. And now once again it's Mateus on that late roam, once again striking, forcing PC419 into yet another uncomfortable position, as right now it's all down to Shaq to do anything. That, funnily enough, that impact grenade does not connect at all. And in a 4v1 situation with 20 seconds, not much can be done here, so the man will have to go for a few of the exit frags, as it seems like this is the last avenue for him to try to take. Finds a shot onto one of the defenders, but will be shot down very quickly by Jigsaw. And just like that, it's Skyfire's time to have a 2-point lead.
Finally we get a team break away from that round for round streak that we've been going through for quite some time now. And that is also one of the big ones. That 5 points means they are 1 round away from securing the match point, securing the overtime, which, as always, puts a ton of pressure on your opponents. So now it's back onto PC419. If they don't bring it back now, then the pressure is on them for every single round until overtime, if they even make it there.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen both the teams, the moment they get to the match point, they seeming to be having a few issues, a few struggles to finally get over that last hurdle. So possibly we could be seeing a similar thing from Skyfire, but yet to be decided. A 6-pick from Legion to a Jaeger is another interesting thing to witness, just for the sheer fact that it is a slight difference from role to a role, whereas with Legion you do kind of have to go almost for that roam to just booby trap pretty much everything around the side. For Jaeger, all you need to really do is just to set up those ADSs in crucial positions and then kind of just do whatever you want, really.
Yeah, you can anchor, you can roam, you can spawn peek, you can do whatever you want, really. And that's exactly what Skyfire love, doing whatever they want here. As they definitely bring their own flavor. I say this quite a lot, but yeah, Skyfire bring their own flavor to their operator lineups. You can look at the difference here. It's actually been minimally different throughout tonight, probably the least different we usually see from them, but even tonight, you're still seeing things like the Alibi pop up, Pulse being a big play, Villa, you see that a bit, but they definitely like to make use of it. So, setting themselves up in the lead, it's now on PC419 to bring it back, and as always, same operator kind of lineup, it's all going to come down to that execution.
Talking about execution, do have a slight difference in the execute here, as there will be a potentially 2-man push downstairs. Steffi T coming to reinforce Shaq's push here, as the player does what is the unimaginable thing for all the rank stars that do main Ash, and that is thrown out ahead of him. And we'll be seeing that player is actually having his position set up above, but do they read into the fact that it is the Alibi Prism that is looking over the main stairs?
But, I mean, the thing is, you can't not read into it, right? Like, you have to shoot it, because we've seen what happens when you don't shoot it. It can always be the Alibi. Unless you get, like, that really close look at it to tell the difference, then you are probably going to shoot it. So that could be awkward, just like this, as player has slammed down onto Tesla, but just like that, it's a trade back. So refrag leaving no one the better. Here it comes, though, from PC419 to push, trying to force Kubrine away from his spot, but the position on the stairs, they shot the Alibi Prism and they were punished for it.
Yeah, that is a huge, though, impact. Steffi being completely shut out will be now forcing Shaq to try to struggle for a few frags, but will not be able to acquire either of them, really. And, well, that does put us into a 3v4 situation. Potentially Skyfire now could be at a winning situation here, although it's not over yet. Still a minute to go for the attack of PC419 to really, or rather for them to do anything here, really. Pun is left as a solo player, and Kubrine is almost toying with his opponents, trying to kind of just fire back some no-use.
The real winner, though, is Mateus, who's put his Electroclaw in basically an impossible position. Vlad can't get it. That is going to be the most painful thing of all time, that now he's maybe trying to get anything else he can, but he knows that his team does not have a lot of time left, so look at the position Skyfire can have, droned out or not. You can still sit in the vault incredibly safely, and you still have like some attackers sitting downstairs. Now here's the push. Here we go, Pun now around the corner. Can make a breach for sure, but if anything, this is going to be a bit of a tough one to get through. They may even be able to work it out. Too many Electro Claws for Pun to get through. We'll just have to drain the ADS and then go for the push. Here we go, Cthulhu. Will Skyfire make it to match point? Or will PC419 even it up? Or bring it even to 4-5, sorry. Jigsaw mowing down the plants, somehow alive throughout all of that. And it is actually Skyfire to do it on the clock.
Oh man, that position by Jigsaw was absolutely crucial, and him being able to get down there and get rid of the Hibana of Pun that carried the diffuser has pretty much solidified the whole round. So 6-3 scoreline out. That is probably the most dominant scoreline that we've seen for a while now.
We haven't seen a 3-point lead throughout the whole series.
Throughout the whole series, yeah, that is another very good point. And with the trophy room and statuary being the potentially the final site to be defended, this could be huge. Now, looking back at the story, at the history rather, trophy has been actually pretty well defended by Skyfire previously, so they might just be able to do it out here, but not to write off PC419 just yet. They are still a very capable team that can pull off a comeback here.
But now the pressure's on. We're 3 games deep, potentially at the end of the third one. PC419 cannot lose a single round, otherwise their chances are done. Otherwise they lose the potential for that extra at least $500. They're shot at the grand final. It would be painful, and they know that it's 1 round away, so they've got to keep their heads screwed on, not let the pressure get to them. They've been in the spot like this before. Skyfire though, 1 round away from getting another chance to take away the top spot in LPL Pro, to see if they can do it in Season 3, after almost getting it in Season 2, but they are 1 round away.
10 seconds to insertion.
Going to be quite a rough outcome here.
5 seconds remaining.
If PC419 won't be able to get themselves any comeback,
Attackers objective
Skyfire,
to
they
locate a
seem to
bomb
be
and
feeling just the right energy here flowing through them, because they're nailing all the engagements really well, all their reinforcement setup really well. And PC419 are unable to really do anything about that, really.
Now, difference here. Slightly different spot for the Electro Claw. It's on the ground rather on, like, very high up. So it might actually be easier for Vlad to get in and pick that one up. If that's the case, then we may have a very different round on our hands. PC419 might just have a whole different avenue into the site itself. But that all comes down to whether he can actually get to the position to take it out. Skyfire know that he's been doing it every single round,
bomb
so they might
located
look
by
to counter
attackers.
it.
Cleveland now positioning himself right in the dining. Could potentially find some utility, find some maybe frags even from below, but that is still very much under question. That is a vile angle there, Koo. That is such a nasty angle there to hold as well, because not only your opponent will not be able to see it, you will be able to barely see anyone, but Steffi T actually does reply back to Smacker and gets the better of him on the roam. So that is the lone roamer, I believe, completely taken out. So now the rest of SKF will have to be playing right on site.
All right, now we've got Vlad downstairs. The question is he going to get into the position to deny the Electro Claw? Because he still has a few people to deal with too. Player on the meanwhile as well. But there actually goes 1 breach in. So we've now got 1 extra sightline onto the site. Skyfire are feeling a little bit cornered now. That drone onto player could be dangerous, but he's able to get out relatively safely. Can maybe even make a push, a dangerous run across the doorway, but no punish for that one just yet. Mateus will hold this line basically forever, although he may have to stop because Kubrian in trouble. Kubrian alive though, just barely. It's tense.
Whilst he's just barely alive, the whole of PC419 roster is very healthy. And in a matter of just a short few moments, I feel like Skyfire roster could really fall apart. Another impact grenade does come around. Mateus, though, wins out the gunfight, only to be traded out, or rather just down. Steffi pitches in on the whole dilemma as well. It's 2v4 all of a sudden. Skyfire has completely lost out their control here on Trophy Statuary. Player could potentially throw in a spanner and it works, but not for a whole lot of time, really. Completely gets shut down there by Steffi.
Attackers activating the diffuser.
back into the mojo, back into the swing of things. Brian, last man standing, 40 seconds for him to do anything, but it looks like the man can't really do much. There we go. Tesla is the one to shut him down, as PC419 do finally break the 4-round streak that Skyfire were able to muster up.
Yeah, it definitely started looking quite dicey there, particularly in the rounds that they have to win, but really clean one there. They get in there, not really losing anything, doing a good amount of damage to the team, softening them up, ready for the final push, and there it is. They got some excellent little frags, and you could even see, like, the times when they're turning corners, and you have things like, I think Mateus was just sitting there staring at a rotation hole, which is like, obviously he has to, but because of that, a free frag is scored. And that sort of thing happened a few times in that round. So PC419, that's one round now under the belt. Can they keep the momentum rolling? They've got to win a few in a row, now 2 in a row, to catch this one up. Still though, Skyfire, single round away from that grand final.
Yeah, single round from the grand final, a single round from potentially attempting to repeat the history and repeat their attempt at winning out the grand final as well. They will be versing potentially, well, if they do win out this round, they will be versing their old opponents in the face of Ferox, but completely different team with the same name. So the very least is going to be the org rivalry, I suppose. But to get back to this very matchup, rivalry is still here. All the grudge matches are still there. Seems that finally the gloves have came off, and it's the matter of who can nail the nastiest headshots. No lineup changes really from PC419, and neither there is a whole lot of changes from Skyfire. Once again, Smacker opting to bring in the alibi, which has kind of worked out, but not particularly well, at least to what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's found some catch-outs with the trick on the prism, but for now, yeah, he's definitely going for some interesting ones. And Alibi is one of those operators that a lot of the value that she brings isn't always seen, right? Like, a split second of hesitation from an attacker could easily be a frag for you, but someone else picks it up. So Smacker might be finding success with the, at least with the prisms, but for now, his team is certainly finding that success, at least, you know, before the last round. But here we go, easy little cam deletion from the outside, pretty safe to do so. And now you've got a pretty little line of sight down a pretty long hallway to get that one down. But yeah, so far, nothing fragged out, but Jigsaw, what a vile little angle on that window. Do they even know?
I'm not too sure if Tesla is aware about that. Surely a drone should be able to notify
it went over the hole.
That very thing, but instead, Steppy actually makes his own hole to damage Jigsaw even more. So now forcing him out of that position, it is going to be a very crucial part to really get things going and underway for PC419 and potentially their own comeback. Now, Player, his play here is going to be very crucial because he needs to get rid of Vlad as quickly as possible if he wants his team to come out victorious, because that man will be able to keep on chewing away at some of these utilities, and he won't stop until all of it is gone.
Jackal's coming out, which means Mateus knows exactly where he's got to go. Vlad, what a bad time to pull out your camera. He sees him, though, on the drone, so now it's going to be the old Mexican standoff here. Who's going to come out on top? He knows he didn't go all the way down the hallway, so runs off, but Kubrian cuts off Steffi T with a C4. It's still overall a trade at the end of the day, though, as Jigsaw does go down in the background, but here is the plant Cthulu. PC419 gonna try and steal it away from under their noses. Shaq got his man's back here. Plant goes down. They lose the plant up Hun, but can Shaq get him back? He can. And can they hold on to this? Everyone from Skyfire rushing back now. Mateus, Kubrian, both getting back here to try and save it out. No C4 for Kubrian though. He has to go in for the plant, win a gunfight here. Can he get around it? Nope. Mateus, he holds on to that one, gets rid of Shaq, and it's just Vlad now. Vlad and Tesla to stop Mateus. Stop Mateus from getting that disable onto the diffuser. 11 seconds, it's coming right down to it. Mateus knows it's do or die now. And the option is die, unfortunately, with that setup from PC419.
Oh man, only one round away for PC419 to push this into overtime, and is most definitely looking like this will end up resulting in that very thing. Skyfire completely lost for any actions, really, allowing those pushes to come happen, and it seems that it's PC419 who started to adapt really the very same aggression style that Skyfire will bring in over on their own offense here. So look, this is a great moment here for PC419. They're still not out of this yet. 2 rounds before, we may have been chanting saying that SKF are just about to go into the grand finals. Now it's not even fully solidified yet. This is still very much can be PC419's game, although they will have to sweat a little bit more for it than
Defenders, protect your bombs from
Skyfire,
being
at least
defused
for
by
this very
attackers.
round.
Yeah, one round more, and that's fine. You know, both teams have had back and forth runs throughout this series, right? You can easily just say either team can win each round so far. Maybe Skyfire's been doing a little better on this map so far. It had a pretty good attacking half, but even then, you know, it was still a 3-3. So PC419, they're going to have to just do it one more time here on attack and then take us to overtime. So a scary, scary prospect, but much scarier. Much less scarier than what it was 2 rounds ago, right?
10
So
seconds remaining.
PC419 know they can do it. The pressure surely must be gone by this point, at least for a team of their caliber. So let's see if they can swing in and do the same thing. It is a different site here, but a lot of long corridor control probably going to be on the table, on the cards here for both sides, as well as that stairs control. 3 men over here for PC419 going to spawn together. 4.
The push is just about to happen. PC419. The 1-2. Get the push.
Someone just holding down left click?
I think so. Steffi was quite keen on maybe going for a few very long pre-fires, or maybe it was a Vlad. Look, at the moment they are full sending one of their holograms to just drone out to figure out if there's any kind of presence, which seems, oddly enough, that nobody is even going to be bothering to really contest the 90-degree holo, which is a very unusual thing. Maestro of Smack is very keen on those setting up a few of the pre-fired positions, but even those will be erased. Vlad just confirms yet another position as just being completely abandoned, but so the only one that they haven't checked is right at the end of that 90-degree hallway towards the study room. And Pun should be ensured a safe drop, but instead we are so far just awaiting for rather the breach attempt to happen.
Yeah, and as it's obviously electrified up right now, there's the first frag. Now we're going to wait to see how the impact trick goes. It should go off without a hitch, not really any pressure on...
Wait, is the kite charge once again hidden in a impossible position? Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Where is it?
Okay.
I think it's actually just around the corner.
Yeah, so they did it here last time. It's in the games room, so... yeah, Mateus, underneath Mateus where he was just standing, so... Yeah, complete denial. He can hold on to that impact if he wants to, chuck it in someone's face if he needs to. Although, look at this little position they've got here. Shaq may be able to find the frag.
And they don't have the IQ as well to shoot it out at all, so they don't know exactly where the kite is. So attempting to blindly open up the floor is definitely the only way for them to really do that. Vlad attempting to gather some more information about the whereabouts of the alibi. We'll be finding actually her. So now they know where the alibi is. Maybe a few pre-fires could be done here, but firmly and very quickly, there's actually forfeited his position. Another attempt. Mateus gets downed with that frag grenade, but there's no more frag grenades there, so Jigsaw should be able to pick him back up. Smoke grenade starting to come around as well. 27 seconds remaining. This could be the final round. Shaq taking so much damage as well through that whole smoke grenade. And look, this player right now could really change the outcome here of the game.
Yeah, no breaches at all, so in it goes. Player completely blinded up, and the push starts for PC419. Another one down, and everyone down for PC419. Now they can complete this one. The plant down, just Jigsaw remains. Cthulu, I believe we're going to be going to overtime unless Jigsaw has something to say about that. And with his position revealed, Prisma's pinging him out. It must be all but done and dusted here. 30 seconds is all he's going to get a few more frags here. But look at that health bar. Literally 1 HP. A sneeze will kill him. A tick of the diffuser will kill him. And he even has to peek outside a little bit too, but leaves the ADS a little bit too soon. And loses that position. PC419 have indeed brought us to overtime.
Well. First it was Skyfire that went on a 4-round streak. Now it's PC419 with their own 3-round streak coming around. Absolutely stunning, the fact how different it felt like these past 3 rounds comparative to literally pretty much the whole series so far. Skyfire looked so lost and were unable to collapse so quickly under the pressure of PC419. It's amusing.
Well, the crazy thing is, right, it's not like they faltered in that defense, right? They held them off for the longest time. They never found the Electro Claw. They even downed Kayed, but even then Mateus could just get right back up, and they had 5 people for the defense, but
Player's position, it could have been huge. The fact that he decided so
Attackers
prematurely
need to
to
locate and defuse
push
bombs.
out
into the flashes.
definitely was quite a huge misplay. Once again, small mistakes that seem to be affecting quite substantially some of the round outcomes that did forfeit the whole control of the study room and actually prevented the defense to, well, stop the diffuser plan, because Player was actually in such position that he wouldn't have been shot from this very doorway where we just seen one of the defenders break the pot, and could have actually been able to deny it, and that would have been the whole round pretty much all done and dusted and wrapped up for Skyfire, and they would have been already in the grand finals. But look, props to PC419. They still managed to punish Skyfire on each and every mistake that they've made. So all is well, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, PC419, they'll be stoked to manage to swing that round in their favor, and so it did get a little close for sure. We were counting down the seconds, but they stay alive. And to their credit, they've done that 3 rounds in a row now, so they are the ones now on a roll. Skyfire having to come back into it. We're still playing the same operators, so everyone's used to this by now, but once again, Vlad gets full knowledge that his pathway completely clear.
That recharging, well, theoretically drone, certainly doing absolute magic there. Once again, Tesla and Shaq are able to already assist with taking control of this trophy and statuary, just being able to just bit by bit take it away, jump it away from Skyfire's position, and this is exactly what they want right now. If they are able to take very quick control of the 90-degree hallway, this could be a huge one, but again, haven't really droned it out. Vlad is actually going for a face check around the corner, and we'll be trying to open up that position once again, but the Kayed Electrical should be hidden yet again.
They've pinged it out though, so they know where it is, so there's not really an excuse to try and get rid of it. This time the frag comes in and it doesn't quite get it. You can see they're trying to get it through the doorway to try and deny it, but surely Mateus should know. Yeah, there he goes. He's going to get away from it because he knows it could be another one to follow it up, but just short of hitting the Electro Claw, rough. And even rougher, you've lost Steffi downstairs. They might swing around onto Player to see if he can confirm this kill, but no one's actually in position to hunt him down, but no. He might be a little bit cornered here, even from above Kubrian trying to spot him out. So he's completely pinned down. Can he get out of here? The answer is no. Well, actually, Player can't get out.
Yeah, Player won't be able to get out, and Tesla is able to trade him out without losing any HP. That is a good thing, but will be losing his life very promptly. Cool. Fantastic angle from up above. Was initially made to try to assist the alibi, but unfortunately only was able to trade out his fallen teammate, but that is good still for Skyfire. Being able to trade out 1 for 2, and that is the 2 soft breaches nonetheless, is a huge thing here. Now, if they're able to get rid of either Shaq or Vlad, this could be an absolute shutdown, because Vlad has been absolutely core to the success of the PC419 squad with his droning and using the holograms. Really has been thing, but look, another frag grenade does come around. Won't be able to find anyone, and already a push does come around. That's 1 frag for Smacker. As Jigsaw finding Shaq is the last man standing, 2v1, but dies in the smoke and the C4 to boot. Skyfire win out the first round of overtime.
Oh, rough. Oh, and the C4 to come out just to make the finish that little bit more special, that little bit more explosive. But 1 round now in the bag there. 1 round away from the grand final. Could we really have it any other way, Cthulu? Skyfire have broken that streak. They've managed to pull 1 round back into their favor. Now they get to go back to the attack here. It's been a while since they've been on it, so They could close it out here, but they've got to get back into that attacking mindset. Same thing for PC419 though, although for them it's a little bit more dire. They have to win this round.
And this is the round that they want to win. They do want to keep themselves up in this game. Trophy Room and Statuary is going to be their choice to defend. Now, last time they were defending Trophy and Statuary, funnily enough, both of the attempts were actually went out by them. So not a single time was Skyfire able to take control of the Trophy Statuary that was defended by PC419, and that is something that does give PC419 some hope as well, knowing that this was one of their better sites to defend. Definitely should give them enough energy to close it out. But for Skyfire, they are once again back on the roll. They managed to shut down the lost streak that they had. Certainly looking to maybe continue their domination here.
Alright, so we're going to get the Kyans up again, and they're going to be actually in different spots compared to what we saw run by Skyfire. So these ones might actually be a little bit easier to catch out here if they're onto it, right? They've got the IQs. Yeah, you don't worry. Yeah, they've got the IQ, so they could spot it out in a similar way to what we saw PC419 do to clear them out. So different spots, but should be easy enough to find.
I'd say Kai taught me well.
Definitely. Another set of wall has been enforced, but very quickly Pun will be already notified of the presence of guests, as he will be making a very swift retreat back to the Astro, and that does allow Smacker to actually already open up a window to potentially drop in right into the bathroom, because there's no presence there. Could be potentially shot out, and right now this is going to be a bit of an issue there, as maybe he might be able to hit it. Oh yeah, he does actually get rid of both of them. So that's the whole wall has been opened up, and that is a fantastic opportunity. PC419 are nowhere to be seen, and Tesla is going to be attempting to shut it down to no avail though.
They just bailed. They can't hold it with that breach now in place. So look at Tesla. He's under fire now that he's had to retreat. So Smacker may even have the freedom to get back in there pretty quickly. Through this breach, even the drone can get through basically uncontested. So look at all this information they've got here. Skyfire could be setting up for a really solid push into the end. That line of sight could be what they are looking for. It could be the swing to just win them the round here and now. For PC419 though, it's on the back foot on this must-win round. Pun in a bit of trouble here underneath the desk in Astro. He knows Vlad is probably near the window a little bit to help him out, but here we go. The smoke's actually coming out quite early. This is desperation from PC419, trying to swing this one back in. Shaq may have to do his job, may have to do Shaq things. There's one Shaq thing, but he's got 4 more to do. 3 more to do, I suppose. Shaq actually saving the round, but a trade back. It's not onto Shaq, but Steffi T instead. So Skyfire not going to let PC419 just swing it back, not for free.
Not at all, yeah. Definitely punished quite substantially. Shaq taking some more even damage through that pre-fires and will be shut down by a player. That is one of the key players. Now Vlad and Pun remaining. Pun getting some fire back, but gets Vlad down. It's all down to the Punisher, but no! PC419, their run is over here. Skyfire are the ones to yet again advance into the grand finals, but just as the final step. For Archie.
For Archie.
It is, but oh my goodness, that was probably one of the closest games we have possibly seen. And Skyfire get to retry their fate here in the grand finals next week.
And man, look at the respect coming out from Skyfire too. Going over to Shaq, I mean, we knew he was crazy, but it's good to see that Skyfire can publicly say that too. Look, I mean, the man's a machine. It's a shame he has to go down now, but I mean, look, what a great season for him to have. So props to him and the rest of PC419, but of course, all the congratulations now, right now, go straight to Skyfire. They're back into that grand final and ready to take another shot as the LPL Pro Kings.
Yes, and it's once again going to be a huge grudge match for Skyfire to really play it out. They will be against Ferox for once again to try give their all their best really to attempt to claim the grand finals win and claim themselves that first place and prevent maybe Ferox from taking 2 seasons in a row of a win.
That's right. So everyone, that's our semi-finals now out of the way. Only the grand final remains. Ferox versus Skyfire. I mean, we've seen this one before, but who knows how it's going to go this time. So everyone, a big thank you to all of our sponsors here at LPL Pro. Red Bull, of course, we love those guys. Conquer, WD, Black, Sky City, and of course Extrafy, who've got their new gaming mice and keyboards out at all good PC gaming stores. So go down to your Playtech, go down to your M-Wave, and pick one of those up now. But of course, once you've done that, you're going to have a whole week to wait until the grand final, Tuesday next week actually, so 6 days actually. So tune in then, 8:30 p.m. to see the big old grand final, Ferox versus Skyfire.
It's all down to Mitchie to try to deny that. He's not able to deny the plant red. He's able to run down the time.
Here it starts again. 1 kill already done. Next kill already done. Numbers do usually win out, so they are going to pick it up through the wall.
Camera in position.
Get behind me!